Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Eid Mubarak. Welcome to this very special show on Eid here at PTV World. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz.
And I'm Sana Maqbool, and today of course we're celebrating Eid but also paying tribute to the frontline workers who are fighting in the spread and the fight against coronavirus, which of course is something that Pakistan faces today, as the world over also is facing the same issue. And so along with Eid, we're also paying tribute to all those people who are working hard and making sure that we are safe and that our Eid is a happy one.
Definitely, Sana, this year we are celebrating Eid, of course, with the entire festivity that has been there traditionally, but also by following the SOPs that are very important to not just keep us safe, but everyone around us.
Absolutely, because of course we need to make sure that the SOPs are implemented since the threat of coronavirus is still there. So it's also important to be safe and be kind to each other and to those around you, and making sure that you not only protect yourself but those around you, and remember the people who are in need in these times, who are not as fortunate as you are, perhaps not as privileged as you are.
Definitely, and I think we're very honored to have a great bunch of guests tonight with us on this show. Definitely, there are people who are spending Eid on the front lines as well, and they are rendering their services to the nation in the fight against COVID-19. Each and every one of them in their own department, in their own domain, are really doing a great national effort in synergy, of course, with the Federation in ensuring that all of us stay safe and all of us, of course, stay blessed in these times of Eid as well. I'm going to be introducing them, obviously, and we'll introduce them to you one by one. First of all, we are very honored to have been joined by the Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on National Health Services. This gentleman, of course, has been leading the fight against COVID-19 with his team and is also responsible for bringing reforms in Pakistan's healthcare system as well. None other than the very Honorable Dr. Zafar Mirza. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Saab. Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak to you.
And of course, we've also been joined by other leaders in this fight against coronavirus, who's also taking a look at the on-ground situation. And they're also making sure that the people are safe and protecting their lives in, of course, this threat that we all face. And so with us, we've also been joined by IG Islamabad, Mr. Amir Zulfikar. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. You, of course, Assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
You are, of course, leading and making tireless efforts and making sure that people on ground are being provided with food and shelter, and you're making sure that Islamabad
it's a
is
national
safe.
duty, and I'm very honored.
We're very
that
grateful.
We are part of this struggle, and inshallah we will drive, no issues.
Thank you
Definitely.
for your efforts.
We have also we also have the honor to be joined by the Additional Commissioner for Islamabad. This gentleman, of course, with his administration and his team, have been implementing all the SOPs given by the government, and of course they've been ensuring that in these testing times, essential items reach out to those people as well who are in need. He's none other than the very Honorable Mr. Babar Sahibdeen. Assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak, sir.
Eid Mubarak. And lastly but not least, we have with us DHO Islamabad, who is making sure that the frontline workers and the hospital staff and everyone is equipped, and is making sure that, of course, the people who are fighting this coronavirus are being provided the equipment that they're needed. And he's making sure that the SOPs, of course, are also implemented. He's the District Health Officer, Islamabad, Dr. Zaim Zia. Thank you very much for your efforts and for joining us. Eid Mubarak.
Thank you, Eid Mubarak.
Right, Sana, I think before we move on to the program, we have a very detailed report paying tribute to the frontline workers, including doctors, law enforcement, and everybody that has been involved in this fight against COVID-19 by our correspondent Ali Andaz. Let's just take a look at this report, and then we'll begin the discussion.
System beyond its capacity. What followed next is exemplary, to say. When coronavirus made its appearance in Pakistan, the biggest fear for the authorities was not the virus itself. It was the anxiety that our health system may be overwhelmed by the patients. Pakistan faces shortage of hospitals, equipment, doctors and paramedics. The anxiety was well placed. The country went into lockdown to avoid bending our healthcare system beyond its capacity. What followed next is exemplary, to say the least. Our doctors, nurses and paramedics offered themselves to fight the pandemic. Without much resources and equipment, doctors and nurses worked day and night to save the patients. And they are still fighting. Government and public just cannot thank them enough for the services. But there have been sacrifices too. Young and old doctors and nurses lost their lives in the line of duty. Those who recovered from the disease immediately came back to their jobs. Their courage is unmatched. The tributes to these heroes followed from every walk of life. Despite some hiccups along the way, Pakistanis stood up to the challenge. Supporting the medical staff, our police and military was not behind. As doctors and nurses are fighting inside the hospitals, the police are outside on the roads fighting the pandemic. They are helping the public follow the guidelines, making people realize the threat of the virus. A large number of policemen became infected too. As always, Pakistan military came forward to help the nation. Pakistan Army consolidated our efforts. NDMA coordinated the measures, filling the gaps in the fight. Pakistani troops were on the streets in support of the civil administration as soon as the country faced the challenge of coronavirus. Pakistan Army is also helping the government become self-sufficient in equipment needed to fight the challenge. For the army too, the fight is not without martyrs. Despite spike in cases in Pakistan, our doctors, nurses, paramedical staff with support from army and police make sure that we remain prepared and vigilant. Their sacrifices and services will never be forgotten. This is Alian Das reporting for PTV World.
Right, there you have it. Facts, figures, and of course paying tribute to all those heroes that are out there, including doctors, people from law enforcement, people from the administrations who are doing their job in ensuring all of us stay safe at home as well, and also those segments of society who are deprived as well. I think now beginning the discussion, Sana, I'd like to ask Dr. Mirza. Dr. Saab, Eid, definitely festive occasion for us. Traditionally, we're very close. We see a lot of gatherings throughout, but this Eid definitely brings a lot of responsibility for us as well.
Gee, thank you very much. Indeed, that's what it is. This is a very different Eid, I would say. There is a solemn mood in the country. Taking this opportunity, I would like to pay tribute to all those who have contributed directly or indirectly in addressing this catastrophe that we are having in the country. We have been lucky in Pakistan that the outbreak has not taken that form as we have witnessed in other countries, and partly it's Allah's blessing on us, but apart from that, I think it's a collective effort, and I think that so far so good. Well, mortality and morbidity, when it hits at individual level, and those it hits, they know what it means. But at a broader level, I mean, when we compare the situation in Pakistan with other countries, I think that we have been quite lucky, I would say. I would like to pay tribute to all those who have directly or indirectly supported this. You mentioned frontline workers. Absolutely, I mean, they are our real heroes and heroines in this struggle. But apart from that, also all health workers. When we say frontline workers, we usually mean people who are taking care of patients in the critical care. But actually, everybody in hospitals and hospital settings, but even beyond hospitals, we have really taken a whole of government approach. Our law enforcement agencies, people working in the laboratories, testing, our outreach workers who are going into the communities, our volunteers, and the nation at large. So my hats off to everybody who has contributed to this. And as I said, I mean, it's not just even a whole of government approach, it's a whole of nation approach, whole of society approach, without which this scale cannot be handled.
Definitely, that
absolutely, it is true. And of course, as you mentioned rightly so, that there are so many people who are at the front line. It's not just our doctors and our paramedical staff, and of course it's really important for everybody who's working hard these days to making sure that we are happy and we're safe in our homes. It's really important to pay tribute to them, which brings me of course to the police force as well. And maybe unfortunately as a nation we don't respect the police enough. We don't maybe understand how hard their job is or how much efforts they are making, and especially with regards to fighting such a pandemic, the police force has really been in the front. How have you seen the support that the police has given to the people and the measures they have taken in this regard?
I think what Dr. Saab has said, it has encapsulated our entire effort as a nation. Police, of course, is the institution, because if police was not there in such a situation, there is always a very major chance of a riot or a major law and order situation developing. As far as Islamabad is concerned, alhamdulillah, not a single incident has happened. The police has led from the front. We have been doing quarantines. We have made sure that the SOPs are being implemented. Then we have also acted as a bridge between the donors and the donees.
Right.
And we have made sure that when the donor wants to give something, the self-respect of the donee is respected, and there is no law and order situation. I would also like to add here that as far as Islamabad is concerned, alhamdulillah, not even a single incident has taken place where the police had to recourse to any use of force. We have made sure that our policy and our motto of Pehle Salam Phir Kalam is implemented. You must be aware that Islamabad police feels very firmly that public is the boss. And in these trying circumstances, if the police loses its cool, it can lead to so many negatives.
Right.
So this, as I said earlier in the intro, taking it as a national duty and taking it as a challenge which we have never been subjected to before in our lives. You remember 1920, after 100 years ago, the Spanish flu, none of us was there. So all said and done, I think the police has done a wonderful job, along with the district administration, along with the doctors, paramedical staff, the government, the media, army, everybody has played a role.
Right.
And if we had not acted in unison and we had not acted as a body, I think the situation would have been very, very good.
Right, you're absolutely right. It is like an organism fighting together, and we need all the parts to function properly in making sure that we survive.
Definitely, and one very important factor in all of this scenario is that there are segments of society that have not been privileged as most of us are, and to reach out to them in these testing times, because definitely these segments needed to be taken care of in these testing times as well. And there we had the administration as well. Babar Sahab, we see Islamabad is a very diverse place. Directly under the federation, then we've got our own administration. Definitely, we can say a province within itself. The city is designed like that. But you and your team reaching out to so many people, because we realized it was the holy month of Ramadan in between as well. People wanted to distribute ration bags and so many other things at the same time. So to keep that system in place with the law enforcement agencies intact must have been a very tiresome job.
Right. So all the administrative efforts that we have made over the last 2-3 months, it's not just the implementation of the SOPs. It's actually coming up with the SOPs and implementing them. For that, you have to do a lot of coordination as well. So primarily the Chief Commissioner office or the DC office in Islamabad, it is basically a central office where it coordinates with all the other departments as well, all the departments that are working under us, as well as the departments that are external. So if any coordination has to be done with the NDMA or with the ministry, DC office is doing that. So we're working on multiple fronts as well. So it's you have to collect the data, then you have to analyze the data. We have our own data center where we have epidemiologists as well who analyze the data. Then with the help of the DHO and the Ministry of Health, certain actions are taken. Then you have to ensure that the SOPs are maintained as well. You have to give feedback at the federal level, what kind of SOPs should be implemented. And again, other than that, you have to create the alternatives as well. So the government, the Islamabad administration is also working towards providing alternatives to people as well, in terms of, so if someone has to order maybe fruits or vegetables, we have our Dostam app. You can just go there, order fruits, vegetables at the DC rate. Similarly, multiple services like registration of vehicles, your revenue record, and
Even
if
the
you want to obtain the
ICT
domicile.
administration app has really done wonders,
Right.
if we see in this time.
Yes. So I think it has been a lot of success, and we have seen a lot of positive feedback from the people as well. People are using it. A lot of positive reviews have already been received.
Right, and there's so much that's going on at the back. Of course, when we're talking about fighting this pandemic, there's a lot that perhaps the common viewer may not be aware of what's going on in terms of fighting this disease at different levels. There's so many efforts that are taking place. Dr. Azeem, you, of course, as a district health officer, are dealing perhaps a little more directly with the health staff as well, and with people, and you're with the fight against coronavirus. You're seeing things with a different eye and a different lens than perhaps we are. In your view, how has the fight against coronavirus been? How has Pakistan fought back against the disease, both as leaders and as a nation?
I think it's been an interesting fight because it has never happened before. And under the Ministry of National Health Services with CPM Zafar Mirza Sahab, we have established a system in Islamabad that makes sure that anybody who gets a positive result gets followed extensively. For example, if we get a positive patient, we have extensive contact tracing, and that is one of the trickiest part. Where one person leads to 10 more people to get tested. And this is the basic idea that the contact tracing can actually contain disease in any area, be it like thickly populated or whatever the population size is. So our teams have been there. There are 16 surveillance teams were comprised of a doctor, a medical technician, and a vehicle. They go around the entire town, and at one time, 16 teams are out there and tracing all the people who are diagnosed with the positive. We make sure that they remain quarantined at home with the help of the district administration and police, because we need them at times, because some of the patients do not want to stay home and they would want to come out. So just in order to make sure that the disease does not spread. And also we established a rapid response system where a patient who's quarantined gets the chance to get transported from the hospital to the house, or from the house to the hospital, or anywhere. If they are coming from abroad, we take them from the airport to the hospital and get them tested. And also the people who are quarantined in hospitals, in the hotels, who are foreign travelers, we test them and we give the results and the feedback to the district administration. So it's been a very coherent system in Islamabad that has been in place, and especially all the 4 pillars together, the ministry and the police and the district administration and other social players. We have put a system in place that helps us contain. And if you look at the numbers, it was like 2.5 months ago, this disease started in Islamabad, and only 1,100 cases, not undermining the importance of 1,100 cases.
Right.
But if you compare it with the international standard, it is pretty.
Definitely, it has been contained. Right. Of course.
Definitely, the work has been there. And Sana, we must realize that in our lifetimes, this is probably the most serious of health emergencies that we've seen.
And the most global.
Absolutely. And Dr. that's why I must ask you that we've seen countries with such an immense and diverse and developed healthcare system around the world who have not been able to cope up with this. But hats off to the government and, of course, the Ministry of National Health Services for always, being ready for this with a contingency plan that we saw it being contained in a very professional manner.
Well, I don't want to overstate it. We know that our health systems are not really up to what they should be, but I think the nature has also supported us. The outbreak has unfolded in some countries very differently than in others. So in Northern Hemisphere, Europe, America, the toll has been very, very high. And despite their systems very well developed, health systems, they were overwhelmed. The number of casualties was very, very high. But when we look at, for example, in South Asia, not just in Pakistan, the outbreak has a different character. It is slow in rising. The numbers, especially the deaths, has been low in relative terms and steady, and it seems that there are other factors which are at work rather than just human effort, as you very kindly ascribe to it. But having said this, definitely in Pakistan we started early. We tried to prepare and jack up the system as much as we could. Health emergencies require preparation in so-called peacetime, and our system has been very weak in that sense. So you really had to accelerate an effort. But nevertheless, I think that we were very good in the beginning to control the entry of virus in the country. So we really reinforced our points of entries, which means airports and patients carrying their virus in their bodies entering Pakistan. So I tell you a very interesting fact about this situation. Despite having, we have 48,000 plus cases today in Pakistan, not a single patient has come to Pakistan from carrying virus from China. There is not a single one until now. And the reason was that the regulations in China was very strong, and we coordinated very well with them. We reinforced our points of entries, and to date we do not have a single patient which has a history of traveling to China. Which actually, why I mention this is that actually when you put your house in order and you you take right measures at the right time and really ensure their full implementation, they show the results. So, and later I think that all the provincial governments and our AJK and GB governments, federal government, they coordinated also quite well. One of the greatest challenges during emergency times is coordination, and the federal structure that we are and the 18th amendment that we have, it is not easy. But again, I think the way we managed it by first calling the National Security Committee meeting, which was chaired by the Prime Minister, then actually establishing National Coordination Committee, which is also chaired by the Prime Minister, who actually at least once or twice a week he himself hold the meetings and take briefings. So, when the leadership is so much involved, then we established the National Command and Operations Center, where civil government, army, all sectors, horizontally, vertically, everybody is working for the same cause. So, I think that in the hindsight, when we will look at it, I think we would be rejoicing the fact that we, in a very short time, we put together a very strong and a very robust national effort, which paid its dividends. Right now, we are focusing on building our healthcare capacity, and we are hoping very much, fingers crossed, that we will not reach up to that point where our critical care would be overwhelmed. Today, as we speak, we have 128 patients on ventilators all across Pakistan. This number could have been in thousands. But I think that we have been favored by the nation, by the nature, and I think as a nation we have, I always say we see best of Pakistan during emergency times. Everybody get together and we really put our act together. I wish and hope and pray that we do the same when there are no emergencies.
Absolutely.
Right, absolutely.
In normal times as well, stay united definitely, but
and that's the need of the hour.
That's the need of the hour. One very particular point, Sana, that because we live in Islamabad, we move around and we see and we talk about our police so much being better than so many other law enforcement agencies around Pakistan, or definitely around the world as well, very professional force. And imagine the journey that from 2018, when we were ranked almost 142nd in the world in terms of safest cities, and now in 2020 coming to 58th in the world in terms of safest cities.
Absolutely.
It's a phenomenal job.
Absolutely. And of course, as Dr. Zafar Mirza was saying, we are lucky when it comes to coronavirus. But of course, when we talk about this fact that you were stating, we are definitely going to pay tribute to the efforts that have been made by the people, and the human effort here I think is really, really important. We'll ask Mr. Amir more regarding this, how he feels. I'm sure you feel very proud regarding where we've reached.
Extremely grateful to the Almighty, and because as my friend said when I was posted here, you were 142nd on the World Crime Index, and today we are 58th safest city on the planet. And I think again it's a team effort which has gone into it. I'm very grateful to the civil administration, to the government, to my ministry, plus all the other relevant stakeholders, that the major challenges with Islamabad faced over the last about 1.5 years, everybody knows about it. You remember that the UN also declared Islamabad as a family station after a gap of 12 years, after 2008 married bombing. It had declared that Islamabad is a non-family station. And with that one declaration, I would like to share that the image of the country improved so much that we have had so many foreigners coming in. And that's again trust in Pakistan and the state and the government, that when the foreigners come to visit Islamabad or any other part of Pakistan, they feel safe. Then you remember the royal couple visit, that was again a great boon to the tourism potential of Pakistan, and we were ranked as #1 destination in 2020. So there have been many challenges, but Alhamdulillah no major incident has taken place. The overall crime and public order situation is much more better than it was in the previous years. We haven't had any major crime surge which has been witnessed in other parts in Islamabad even during this corona. And that was one of our parameters of planning and success also, that because we were afraid that when people start losing jobs, and because nobody knew in February for how long would this continue. This could easily go for another 2 years. So we planned accordingly, we refined our plans, and through proactive policing, and then also through involving different stakeholders like the chamber, like the other relevant forums, we were able to gel together a team that our now aim is, inshallah, by year's end we will be in the top 30 or 40 cities on the planet, inshallah.
Right, of
Inshallah,
course.
inshallah, definitely. We do see that, and definitely, like I mentioned, because we live in Islamabad, so we see all of these things practically, and we definitely, our heart goes out to our police force there.
And it's really important to building trust as well.
Absolutely,
because now you
like
feel
you mentioned.
safer, because now you trust the police force, and now you know that they're there to help you and save you.
And we have I want to mention this point as well, that definitely, like IG Saab mentioned, the police came up with the motto of Pehle Salam and Phir Kalam, and I think that should be vice versa for our public as well at the same time.
Absolutely, for everyone. Of course, I think there's a larger need to be courteous and polite generally for all of us. Which also brings me to the public responsibility, of course, when we're talking about, especially with regards to SOP's implementation. When, of course, this plan came ahead, there were people who were a little hesitant whether or not the SOPs are going to be followed, whether or not we're going to face a surge in coronavirus cases, and whether or not people are going to enforce that these SOPs are implemented, be it in a workplace or in a larger area as well. Mr. Baba, with regards to your efforts in making sure that the SOPs are implemented, what sort of challenges were you facing, and how did you ensure that the SOPs are implemented, and more importantly, did the public respond well to that?
Right. Just before I answer to the SOPs, I would just like to make one comment that yes, there is no doubt that nature has been favorable to us, but as far as the Islamabad is concerned, there is a whole administrative design behind this. So the reason that the number of cases have been limited, there is a lot of effort has been done behind that. It is so the administration is not only looking at ensuring that the prices are controlled and that people are not stocking up, and we have to ensure that the basic commodities are available, the right number of stock is available to us all the time, and at the same time you have to ensure that people who are coming to Pakistan, they are quarantined. So there are 20 quarantine centers here, and then you have to also make sure that the poor segment of the society, people who have lost their jobs or who do not have the right sources of income, they are being catered to as well. So we have 10 we have 5 langar khanas, then we have similarly 5 permanent langar khanas as well, where almost 4,000 to 5,000 people are fed on everyday basis as well.
And this also include mobile ones as well?
Right. We have 5 mobile langar khanas which have been recently created, so they actually go to the places where there is a need. So for instance, if a certain area is locked down, or if you see that a certain area has more laborers, they will visit those as well. And similarly, if something is locked down, then we have coordinated with the utility stores as well. There are mobile utility stores now as well. They will go to your doorstep and they will provide you the essential commodities at the government notified rate. And coming back to the SOPs part, creating the SOP is a big job as well. But then once the SOPs are created, making sure that the SOPs are implemented is a huge task as well. I'm very thankful to all the law enforcement agencies, IG Saab is sitting here, and then our civil armed forces as well, who have taken the key role in this as well. Our magistrates, our assistant commissioners, our ADCs, DC Islamabad, they are all in the field making sure that the SOPs are implemented. The one comment that I would like to make is that no matter what kind of SOPs you make, and no matter how much effort you want to put in to ensure the implementation of the SOPs, a big deal of responsibility lies with the community. So it has to be led by the community. So for instance, in cases of Maracas, the trade unions, every business that is being done in Islamabad, every kind of business has their own associations. So we have coordinated with all the associations as well. The SOPs have been created after taking them into confidence, and in most of the times they have ensured that they will implement the SOPs themselves as well.
Definitely, yeah, that is a fact. Like you mentioned, that community has its own responsibility at the same time as well. One very important factor, Dr. Zaim, I'd like to ask you is that our health professionals who were on the front line and all the people involved had already been sacrificing a lot, including their time with family. The psychological toll on that was absolutely something that we cannot measure. Now it's an occasion of Eid. Once again, we see that this could have been their time to be home with their families, but they still opt to serve the nation.
Yeah, I mean, I was with one of some of my frontliners today, and they were talking about Eid, and they wanted to take few days off, and I, while like telling their stories of what's going on back home. So we understand that there is a lot of stress and a lot of you know, problems going on, but at the same time, if you look at the situation on the front lines, we cannot leave the field. We cannot afford to leave all the positive cases out there and just celebrate the Eid. So our Eid will be on the front lines with the police and the ministry, and also the administration and the positive people. And also another thing that I see is like a lot of stigma is, you know, being associated with COVID patients and the people working with the COVID. So I urge and I request people to just take those people as patients, not as sort of a stigma where they call us and tell us that there is a patient in our neighborhood, you need to take him out of the society. And apart from that, I see a lot of things going on in like family lives and people, and a lot of my doctors tell me that I have to go home, and I tell them like, no, you cannot at this point, because, and also they understand they have been sacrificing a lot of time, and the research says across the world it has impacted relationships a lot. So this will be true in Pakistan as well. So we cannot afford to leave the, you know, front line and just go Eid, or maybe like we're there while people will.
There's so much compromise that is involved in this, and all of these frontline workers, we may not be aware of it, but they're facing something every day which perhaps is not really taken into account, and nobody talks about it.
But we do relate to that somehow, since we're here on every Eid, and you know, they're doing the same kind. But
not really. But I'm sure their job is much harder.
I think one important point is that when COVID-19 patient gets well and goes home and the test becomes negative, I think that is Eid for all of us.
Absolutely.
Because that is such a sigh of relief for us and for him and for their families. And also it's a sign of the strength of the system, which we all are referring to. And I think it's a matter of pride for us that out of 48,000, as Dr. Saab said, only maybe 100 are on ventilators. That's again, as my friends sitting on the right have pointed out, that Allah Ta'ala, that is a given. But on the human side, I think we have done well, and with this team effort going on and with the leadership being provided by the Prime Minister himself, I think inshallah Ta'ala we will come out with flying colors.
Inshallah, of course, of course. Which brings me to Dr. Zafar Mirza once again, and I'd like to ask a little personal question. So we're talking about the stress that everybody faces and the way that they're dealing with this crisis, and they of course have issues at home as well. We look at your work and we look at your efforts and we see you talk about what needs to be done. But as a person, of course, you're also dealing with something which is really stressful. You're overlooking this huge pandemic that Pakistan is facing, and you were sort of coordinating with everybody on every level, and you can take a look at the bigger picture and the bigger context that perhaps we don't see. In those stressful times, or in such a stressful duty that you have to perform, how do you stay positive, and how do you make sure that you show that positivity out to people as well?
Well, it's I take it as a privilege to be in a position to serve people at this time, and you know, it's being a public health person myself, and being in this coveted office, I see this as a opportunity to serve, and I honestly I get so inspired by people around me, and who are giving their full selves to this effort. Definitely there is an element, I would be exaggerating if I don't say that there is no fatigue. There is definitely a phenomenon of accumulated fatigue, as we say. For last 2 months, every morning without failure, 10 o'clock our meeting starts in NCOC, National Command and Operations Center, with 6-7 federal ministers, and we review the situation, we monitor by hour and take take decisions which has implications on millions of people, on businesses, on lives and livelihoods, these are you know, you feel the sense of such immense responsibility
Absolutely.
that you don't really think about your personal stress or personal, but I mean, we are all humans and it takes its toll. And we are also going to discuss tomorrow that how the Eid would be like in terms of who will be going for where for how much time,
Right,
in terms
right.
of hours, not days. So, so yeah, it's a privilege. We are in a we have been blessed by Almighty to be put in such positions where we have to give our best, and there is no absolutely no sense of complacence or a personal you know, loss or personal fatigue.
Right, that's a huge thing. Of course, it's really inspiring because I'm sure it's not easy to have a meeting every day and make decisions which are so huge, and to making sure that this is the right thing to do.
And as the Prime Minister has mentioned on and on again, Sana, that it's not just the disease that we're fighting as well, it's keeping the economy intact as well. That's
There's
very,
so much
very
at stake.
important. Absolutely. But I think, IG Sahab, you can relate to this at the same time, because our police force has been on the front lines, be it Eid, be it rain, any other public holiday, a professional workforce of more than 12,000 people. The discipline in between themselves, of course, you have to protect them from this pandemic as well. It's truly a tiring job.
This was the major challenge, because when it started hitting the West, I told my officers to do a study, and unfortunately, a lot of police officers got the virus there in New York and in Italy and in other countries. And as I said earlier, if the police gets infected, then who protects the public? Because that fear was there. Now that we are much educated on what COVID is and what impact it will have on us, but in February when it started, there was a lot of fear around. So we had to act as leaders, and we had to, and at that time we were not really having all the wherewithal also. But the police was there along with everybody, and we were there in Barakau, we were there in the ration distribution, we were there in enforcing the SOPs in the all the main shopping centers of Islamabad. And I must appreciate here the people of Islamabad. I'm from Lahore, and as they say, just Lahore nahi dekha usme, we have seen nothing.
Yeah.
But my hats off to Islamabad, that I think in my entire career, I've never seen a more disciplined city. Whenever a message has gone out from the administration and the police, people have generally resorted to adhering to the advice. As my friend Babar was saying, that in not even one incident there has been that the SOPs have been violated. If in certain cases it was reported, we requested the owners of the shops and the chamber, and the response was immediate. Because you know, it is very easy to say enforce the law, but it is very difficult to do it, because once people's livelihoods are at stake, the economy is slowing down, and a lot of people are out of the job because the business is closing down as a natural outcome of this COVID-19. I think all said and done, it's been good. And on a personal level, because it's a challenge which at least I could not have foreseen even in December.
No one could,
that
of course.
this is going to happen. And the happiness which you get, we were able to distribute around 11,000 ration bags between the donors and the donees. And once we reached these transgenders, I can't tell you the happiness which we felt as I was there myself, the amount of happiness they had, because they thought that nobody would look at them, but police was there, and we distributed the bags, and then they sang songs for the police, and you know, it was such a high for me that look, that if you do well, pehle salam phir kalam, if you respect the public is going to love you. And I think that's what the entire plan is, to serve the public. We have so far 8 COVID-19 positive patients, and alhamdulillah, they are all safe.
You mean in police force?
In police force, out of 12,000. It's a very minuscule number. And the primary reason was that we followed all the SOPs which the government had told us, that if anybody was going on leave, he would come back, he would be quarantined for 14 days, and if he showed some symptoms, we would go for the testing. And so far 8 have reported positive, out of whom 2 will be inshallah recovering very soon. 6 will, I think, another take 10-12 days. So I think all said and done, alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful to Allah Pak.
This is a marvelous record.
Sir.
I must say that,
Absolutely,
and I
it
must
is.
appreciate that.
It is.
Sir.
It is.
Because you know, this shows that if you are disciplined, you can actually control it.
Right.
What is preventable must be prevented.
Must be
Right. And
I
it also
would
highlights the
like to
importance of
highlight,
SOPs.
the effort which was and the help which was given to us
Yes, sir.
by the government. Obviously, we are part of the government, but the Chinese embassy gave us around 20,000 masks. Our Minister of State, he provided us around 400 PPE suits. The Islamabad Chamber donated a huge number of suits and also sanitizers. Then there is this gentleman, he just came up to me, he said, "Yeah, I want to donate around 5,000 liters of sanitizer because I see the police standing everywhere." So I think it's an effort, and it's a recognition of the sacrifices which the police does. I've always asked a question, that when you are offering namaz, the police is standing outside.
Sir.
So don't you think we have our children?
Yeah.
Don't you go to the park, you go to to offer Fatiha at the graves, and the police is standing. So police is there 24 hours, and we take it as a national duty. And inshallah ta'ala, with Islamabad, inshallah ta'ala, everything will be good.
Inshallah. And of
Inshallah.
course, you're right, the generosity of Pakistanis is unmatched.
But it's like like Dr. Mirza said, that the best of Pakistan has been seen in crisis. We would like to see
Right.
that more often, definitely.
Right, of course, of course. And the transgender story that you told, I'm sure that must be so rewarding in all of such instances where we're helping people. And I think that sort of takes the stress away.
They started crying. They were so like the police, the IG was there himself. It was like something that it has never happened with them. But we told them that, look, you are as respectful to us as any citizen of
Right.
Pakistan. So we are here to help you out, and we made sure with the help of the district administration that we take care of as many people as possible.
Right, and
All the
that's-
Kachi Abadis were
Right.
rectified. We went there, we did the surveys, we provided security to them so that there is no law and order situation. And I think all said and done, as I said earlier, alhamdulillah, Allah is great.
And I think that's what is another good thing about times of crisis is that everyone gets together, and all of the discriminations that seemed so important
Yeah,
before
go away. They just go away,
and
definitely.
they're just gone. Mr. Baba, when we were talking about the fact that Mr. Amir was also explaining how the workforce was also protected, and it's really important because, of course, when they're fighting this spread of this disease, it's important for us and for you as leaders to also take care of those people and making sure that their lives are also protected. What sort of efforts are being made in terms of that?
Right. So if we look at the Islamabad administration, ICT administration has been providing a mask, PPE suits, shields, not only to our own workers but also to health workers as well, sanitary workers as well, and for instance even in courts, wherever we see that there is
police also.
to the police also, wherever we see that there is a need for the intervention, then we have an officer who is dedicated for that. He is collecting all kind of PPEs, masks from various kind of donors as well as government, and then a distribution plan is made, and wherever there is a need, we do provide that. Of course, the resources are limited. To a certain extent, we can provide a lot of. We're very thankful to the federal government as well,
Right.
who has been providing all these kind of equipments to us as well.
And how do you encourage them and motivate them, give them that hope as well?
Right. So I think if when you go to your office or when you visit any facility, you see a lot of passion among all our workers, whether it's law enforcement agency, it's police, it's health workers, it's any administrative staff. You see that everyone is very dedicated. So I think, being the leader, you have to motivate them. You have to stay positive during a crisis. These are emergency times. But I think most of the motivation you actually draw from them. The way when
From
you
each
see them
other,
working so
yes.
hard, and even on holidays they are working. So it is a lot of motivation for even the higher ups as well, that yes, everyone is working, and we all have to stand together as a nation. We have to stand together and ensure that we fight this crisis and we come out of this.
Definitely.
I
Yes, sir.
to you a very pertinent example of
Sir.
motivation, and that I'm so passionate about being a Pakistani, that we are the best nation on the earth. I was seeing a program of Mr. Kashif Abbasi, and Hilal Ahmed chairman said that thalassemia kids, they are facing a lot of blood reduction because it's basically on donation. So I called them up, I told the police officer that we have to donate. And also you will be surprised that it was a total volunteer effort, and hundreds of bottles have been given by the police for thalassemia children.
That's so nice.
And that was not
Very
in an
kind of
order.
them.
I did not order them. It was totally volunteer. My officers did it. I also wanted to do it, but they said, yeah, I'm old. I don't know plus 50 is old or not. I felt very young, but they said that we keep you as a reserve. So mashallah, I think in trying times, in the 2005 earthquake, you remember
Sir.
how we gelled together in 2009 floods. We gelled together, and I think this is the latest example of being one as a nation. And across Pakistan, there are so many heroes and so many unsung stories, not
Right.
only of the government and
Absolutely.
the main stakeholder, but the citizens also.
Right.
So I just wanted to tell you this, that this is the passion which such a emergency generates in people of Pakistan.
Definitely does, and we need to honor all of these people. And I think, like IG Amir also mentioned as well, that even the citizens, Sana, who have been doing a lot in these testing times, helping the local administration, and we keep on saying this, that even by staying at home, you can do a big
Right,
job.
right. And there are so many people also distributing ration bags or talking to
Yeah.
people or also donating. There's a lot that the Pakistani nation has done as
Has
well.
been done, but it did pose its certain challenges as well. One very particular challenge, Dr. Zaim, if we can talk to you on this, is that because of the lockdown, that we understand that OPDs had to close down, and there were still certain diseases that needed to be treated as well at the same time, and certain initiatives did help the general public, including connecting them via communication devices as well.
Yeah, the first thing is OPDs were closed, but all the emergency services were open. So anybody who had any emergency could go to the emergency department in any of the federal hospitals or the private hospitals that's there. But as an alternative to the OPD services, we had provided on telemedicine services to the rural areas and even in the urban areas. So over like 3,000 consultations were made in last few days. So we've been looking at the need, and also our rural area health facilities were providing healthcare services to the people in those areas, and also the community surveillance through the lady health workers. So we've been watching the entire Islamabad closely, so we see there is nobody dying of any sort of like treatment that could be given on the doorstep or maybe like emergency services. So the federal government under SAPM has been keeping a very close eye on the issues coming up, and so far there hasn't been any rejection of the treatment, and that's there, and anybody who walks into the hospital gets treated.
Right, that's wonderful. That's
Just making
great.
sure that they don't just come to the hospital
Right.
unnecessarily.
Definitely.
Right, of course, and that's very important.
That's very
in
important
making
to
sure
balance
that the
all of
spread
this out.
isn't there.
Yes, absolutely.
So, since we're short on time, I think it's time to take our final messages from our guests. And since, of course, it's Eid, we would like to give some positive and some happy and filled with hope messages to the people. Because, of course, this is a time where so many of us, even the ones who are privileged, are feeling anxious, are afraid, are under quarantine themselves, or they're staying at home or trying to stay away from their loved ones, their family. Even on Eid, they may perhaps will not be able to meet each other that they love. So they will look to you guys, who are our leaders, to give us the hope that we need.
Well, I would conclude by saluting really our health workers. And I have actually launched a national program for them, which we call We Care, and we indeed care for them. And not just them, but also the anxieties and the stress that they go through, and their families. So after adequately supplying the personal protection equipment, we realized that they also needed a rational use of it. So we started trainings. So we have now planned to actually train more than 100,000 health workers on the proper use of PPEs. These are very important. Whatever quantities you supply, if they are not used properly, I mean, you can never meet the so-called demand. So I would really like to pay tribute to them once again, and their families, for allowing their sons and daughters and spouses to keep serving. And I would also like to say to the people at large in Pakistan that we are in a very difficult situation, in this sense that we have to draw a very fine balance between controlling the spread of the disease and also keep economy going. And that has been a most difficult challenge to any policy maker, and the government has been really struggling with it. But easing lockdown can only be possible if people feel their responsibility in order to follow and comply with the guidelines and the standard operating procedures, whether they are in shops, whether they are in public transport, whether they are in buildings, meetings, etc. The social distancing is the theme that everybody has to continue to follow in order to slow down the spread. And as we slow down the spread, the logical consequence of this, that the segment of people who have virus in their bodies going into critical care will also go down. So it is in our hands. If we just follow this, we can slow it down and we can keep our control on it. So I would request every Pakistani that please don't equate easing of lockdown with going away of the SOPs. Actually, they become more important.
Absolutely.
And they are more important than ever that we all follow them, and if we don't, then we are inviting troubles. And things can go very wrong.
And we don't want that,
and we don't want that.
Definitely. Yeah,
Mr.
great.
Amin.
Sir, would you like to say anything? Obviously,
Simple
Eid is
message is we are the best.
we are, sir. Definitely.
Absolutely, there are no twos about it. We are a nation who have defeated the monster of terrorism, what was happening in early 2000s. And mashallah, now you are the safest city, one of the safest city on the planet. And we defeated the earthquake, we defeated the floods. So inshallah, we will defeat it. As the Prime Minister says, we are not going to be we are afraid, we are going to fight this disease. But I think what most pertinent thing which Dr. Saab has said, that this success is in our hands. If we do not follow the SOPs, and those SOPs are for us as humans, as on a personal level. It's not a government that way policy. If I don't follow that SOP, and God forbid I am a passive COVID-19 carrier, I infect 10 other people.
Right.
Maybe one of them already has some critical illness.
And they may
so
not survive.
They may not survive. So I am responsible. So I think that is the message which I would like to give very, very forcefully, that please, this social distancing, this is the only, the government is trying its best. They are doing the tracing, the tracking, the quarantines, everything. But again, as Dr. Saab said, if the medical facilities can cater to 100 people and 1,000 people come in, what the West has not been able to even cater to that responsibility. So that's my request, that let's follow the SOPs, let's do social isolation. On Eid it is very difficult not to hug, but let's do it, because
Let's not do it.
let's not hug, because if I am a carrier, with that hugging I may be infecting some other person.
Yeah.
So that is my personal responsibility.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Wonderfully put.
Mr. Babar.
I would like to pay tribute to all the workers, all the field officers, officials, staff who are working right now as well, and who are making sure that we all are safe. Our law enforcement agencies, our magistrates, our ACs, health workers, they're all doing a great job. And at the same time, I would like to say that yes, it is the time of the Eid, and I wish all of you a great Eid, but we have to ensure that the social distancing is maintained, and we have to follow the SOPs as well.
Definitely it is. Dr. Zaim, all those health workers still working on Eid, a good message from you to them.
Well, I think people should appreciate the health workers as the Europeans and Americans do. They have been celebrating them a lot, but and I expect them to do here in Pakistan as well. Like they were doing, like driving by and rooting for them.
We have been doing actually.
Yeah.
Also, the police have been saluting you. And,
Well, that's true. Thank you. And I think a message to everybody that stay safe, practice social distancing, and just take care of yourself so you can take care of your loved ones who are elders and younger ones.
Right.
Definitely take care of the entire community as a whole.
If I may,
Yes, sir.
Please.
add one thing, the people who go into critical care, more than 80% of them are in the ages of more than 60 years. So I would also like to remind ourselves and everybody that we need to take a very special care of our grandfathers and grandmothers,
Elders, yes.
and
Right.
old people in our homes. We really need to take very special care of them and keep them isolated from people who are visiting or going out. So if we just also focus on this, we will avoid a big problem.
Definitely,
Absolutely.
we
It's
would.
really important.
And that is, Sana, I think the right way to
takeaway,
put it, that
right.
takeaway. And I would still agree, but could not agree more than like IG Saab said, we are the best. We always have been. We still remain to be the best, inshallah. But
I hope
thank
we
you.
come out the best from this fight.
From this fight as well. But gentlemen, thank you very much. You're all
Thank you
superheroes,
so much, everyone.
not just to us, but to the entire nation. I think on behalf of the entire nation, we do salute you for all of your services
Thank you
in
very
your various departments. Eid Mubarak to all of you
Eid
once again.
Mubarak.
We're going to go towards a short break, but stay tuned because when we come back, we'll have some more heroes from the front lines to talk to and definitely celebrate Eid with them as well.
Right, so love each other, but from a distance. Welcome back to PTV World Special Transmission, where we're paying tribute to our frontline health workers. And of course, before the break, we had some very important guests with us, right, Ahmed? And we had a great discussion with them regarding what all goes into taking care of the people and protecting their lives and, of course, fighting this coronavirus.
Definitely. We heard the Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on National Health Services, Dr. Mirza, how thoughtfully the management and of course the government has been managing this entire situation. He of course mentioned that it's not just about the coronavirus but keeping the economy intact as well. We also talked to IG Islamabad, Amir Zulfikar, who also mentioned the fact that the law enforcement agencies have got a prime role here, and phenomenal job done by the Islamabad police so far, where we have no such incident reported so far that can be treated as something very negative. And at the same time, we talked to the local administration as well, including the additional commissioner for Islamabad, Babar Sahib Deen, who also talked about the fact that the administration has been doing a lot in terms of distribution of ration bags and collection of data, which was very important. And of course, you heard DHO Islamabad, Dr. Zaim as well. He mentioned how the doctors on the front line are tackling this as well. But we've talked all about this, and now we've got in studios some unsung heroes, people who are right on the front line when it comes to battling COVID-19. And of course, Eid is special for them at the same time as well, but they still choose to perform their national duty first.
And these are the people that we were talking about earlier when we were talking about paying tribute to the frontline workers and talking about so much that goes into making sure that people's lives are protected and the issues that they face and the work that they are doing. And so much that maybe we do not really know or acknowledge or are aware of the sacrifices that these people are making. And of course, it's very, very important to highlight their stories and their struggle so that you can also understand what a huge responsibility it is on all of us to making sure that we all contribute towards the fight against coronavirus, because these frontline heroes are the ones who are fighting it right now for us.
Definitely. I think it's about time that we introduce our guests for this segment to you as well. We've been joined by three wonderful heroes that they are on the front line. First of all, I have with me Dr. Taimur Janjua, who is the lead in the Corona Surveillance Team. Sir, Assalamu Alaikum, Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
And of course, we've also been joined by the Assistant District Coordinator, who's also a supervisor of the lady health workers, who are making sure that they raise awareness about coronavirus and about health and other issues that people are facing. And they go door to door to making sure that people are aware of this disease, and then of course check them for whether their symptoms are there or not, or whether they are people who are suffering from coronavirus. So we have been joined by Bilkis Alam. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being with us. Assalamu alaikum and Eid Mubarak.
Walaikum salam and Eid Mubarak.
Thank you for joining us.
We also have with us someone who's directly involved when it comes to testing of coronavirus as well, because that is of course the first step. He's none other than Mr. Ismail Khan, who's a lab technician. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
Thank you.
Right. Sana, I think we must know the facts on grounds first of all, and that's very important because there is a lot of technical aspects involved in coronavirus as well, which we don't understand. And Dr. Taimur, I would like to ask you this about the fact that what are the duties of the surveillance team first of all?
अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी, थैंक यू। एक तो मैं आपका शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ, आपने हमें बुलाया इधर। हमारी जो सर्वेलेंस टीम्स हैं उनकी जो बेसिक फंक्शंस हैं वो ये हैं कि जो पॉजिटिव केस आता है हम उसको ट्रेस करते हैं, उसके जितने क्लोज कॉन्टेक्ट्स होते हैं उनके हम फिर टेस्ट करते हैं, और उन टेस्ट आने के बाद फिर हम देखते हैं अगर उनमें से मज़ीद कोई पॉजिटिव आता है तो उनके जो फर्दर कॉन्टेक्ट्स होते हैं उनको भी हम ट्रेस करते हैं। तो ये इनिशियली जो हमारा काम स्टार्ट होता है वो पहले केस से होता है, हम उसको फॉलो करते हैं, उसमें से उसके कॉन्टेक्ट्स में से अगर कोई लोग पॉजिटिव आ जाते हैं तो फिर हम उसको फर्दर जो पॉजिटिव आते हैं उनको फर्दर ट्रेस करते हैं, और इस तरह हमारा काम जो आगे बढ़ता है।
Right, of course, and contact tracing is very important, because when we're talking about flattening the curve and curtailing the spread of the virus, then this work is very, very important. Of course, ये वाला काम बहुत अहम और बहुत ज़रूरी है. We're also going to be talking to, of course, the way that people are reaching in terms of going to everyone's homes and going door to door and providing services there, because so many people are, of course, doing self-isolation or self-quarantine, and they need to be
societal barriers that
made
we have,
aware.
cultural
Ji,
barriers that we have, because
absolutely.
you know, we cannot see everybody coming out of their houses in terms of the cultures and diversity that we possess
And we have
as well.
such a large population who is underprivileged, and they need a lot of help, especially in terms of awareness. मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगी मैम बिल्किस इस हवाले से, ऑफ कोर्स आपकी जो सुपरविजन है रिगार्डिंग हेल्थ वर्कर्स, और आपके अंडर जो काम करती हैं ख़वातीन, वो जाती हैं सब लोगों के घर और उनको बताती हैं कि आप कोरोना वायरस के बारे में ये एहतियात करें, ये इस बारे में इस चीज़ का ख्याल करें. तो आपका काम जो है उनकी सुपरविजन और उनका ख्याल है, उस काम में आपका कितना हाथ है कि आप लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर्स को भी प्रिपेयर करें कि वो अपना ख्याल भी रखें, ना कि सिर्फ उन लोगों का जिनके पास वो जाती हैं.
शुक्रिया, अस्सलाम वालेकुम एंड ईद मुबारक.
जी जी.
सबसे पहले तो हमारी जो इस्लामाबाद में 294 के करीब लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर्स हैं और उनको सुपरवाइज़ करने के लिए 12 सुपरवाइज़र्स हैं. हम जब इनको फील्ड में लोगों की प्रोटेक्शन के लिए भेजते हैं तो सबसे पहले हम उनको ट्रेंड करते हैं कि आप लोगों की प्रोटेक्शन के लिए जा रहे हैं, पहले आपकी अपनी सेल्फ प्रोटेक्शन बहुत ज़रूरी है. इसके लिए बाकायदा हम उनको ट्रेनिंग देते हैं. इसके अलावा उनको पीपीज़ मुहैया करते हैं कि आप फिर बताते हैं कि आपने इस तरीके से क्वेश्चनिंग करनी है, घरों में जाकर लोगों के डोर को भी टच नहीं करना. और जब आप लोगों के डोर पे जाएंगे तो अपनी प्रोटेक्शन करते हुए किसी चीज़ से दूर से 2 मीटर के जो डिस्टेंस रखते हुए बात भी करेंगे. घरों के अंदर भी नहीं जाना, क्योंकि कोविड की वजह से जो काम कर रही थी लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर्स, कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि वो वायरस को एक घर से दूसरे तक मुंतकिल करें तो वो हमारे लिए और मसला बने. लिहाजा अपनी प्रोटेक्शन करते हुए भी लोगों को कोविड से बचाने के लिए हेल्थ एजुकेशन देती हैं, उनको बताती हैं, उनकी सिम्टम्स बताती हैं, और ख़ास तौर पे उनको ये भी बताती हैं कि बिला वजह आप लोगों ने घर से बाहर नहीं निकलना. जब तक आप लोग अपनी सेल्फ प्रोटेक्शन नहीं करेंगे, अपने आप को खुद से अपने घरों के अंदर क्वारंटाइन नहीं करेंगे, तो हम कोविड पर कंट्रोल नहीं कर.
बिल्कुल, ये बहुत ज़रूरी बात है.
Very important aspect of these lady health workers is that they're even reaching out to those places where mainstream units might not be able to reach out to.
Right, and they're making sure that the SOPs which we discussed earlier that are so important are being implemented, and that people are aware of that, and then they're following that as well. And that's a big job to do, to just go right at someone's doorstep and then making sure that they're doing that.
Definitely. इस्माइल साहब, आपसे मैं पूछना चाहूँगा, टेस्टिंग डेफिनेटली एक पहला स्टेप है जब हम कोरोना से जंग की बात करते हैं. आपने कैसा अभी तक टेस्टिंग का अमल देखे, क्योंकि इसमें बहुत बड़ा एस्पेक्ट ये है कि आप उन जगहों पर जाकर टेस्ट करें जहाँ से आपको रिपोर्ट्स आती हैं कि कोरोना के लोग प्रेजेंट है.
सर उसका ये होता है कि हमारे डॉक्टर साहिबान होते हैं, वो कॉन्टेक्ट ट्रेसिंग करवा जो फर्स्ट केसेस होते हैं, तो उसके हमारे पास एक लिस्ट आ जाती है, फिर उस हिसाब से हम जाते हैं घरों में, उससे रब्ता करते हैं. तो जो पेशेंट होते हैं उससे रब्ता करते हैं, उससे बोलते हैं कि आपके कॉन्टेक्ट्स में कितने बंदे जो उसके साथ ज़्यादा क्लोजनेस है, सबके सैंपल लेके सर फिर वो जाके NH में जमा करवाते हैं सर.
तो अभी तक आपने इसमें क्या चैलेंजेस देखे, क्योंकि टेस्टिंग की हम बात करते हैं तो यूजुअली लोगों में थोड़ा सा खौफ पाया जाता है कि पता नहीं टेस्टिंग किस अमल से की जाएगी, और ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि अंडरस्टैंड किया जाए कि इस टेस्ट का जो सैंपल है वो किस तरीके से और किस टेक्निकल एस्पेक्ट से लिया जा रहा है.
उसका सर ये होता है कि हम थ्रोट स्वैप लेते हैं, पहले से पेशेंट को बता दें कि इसके डरने वाली कोई बात नहीं, आपने मतलब हल्का सा वो करके हमने थ्रोट से स्वैप लेना है, आपने खांसी है, दर्द वगैरह और आपने सिंपल से हाथ ऊपर कर, इसमें कोई वो ख़तरे वाली बात नहीं है. तो वो सर एग्री कर रहे थे नॉर्मली, मतलब इजीली वो सैंपल दे देते सर.
That's a big mystery.
ये बहुत important
big mystery
बात.
answered because people had such a fear of this testing that they didn't understand whether the swab was going I don't know what to their brains
all the
or
way. We've
something.
seen images being circulated as well, and that is of course something that contributes to the fact that people who may also be suffering from symptoms are not going to get themselves tested, and that's really important that we, because we need to curb the spread, we all should get tested if we do develop such symptoms, and we should be able to go and see whether we're coronavirus positive or negative. Dr. Damoor, आपसे मैं और पूछना चाहूँगी सवाल रिगार्डिंग कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग. आपने पहले डिस्क्राइब हमें किया था कि किस तरह से उसमें क्या क्या आप लोग एफर्ट्स करते हैं और किस तरह से की जाती है, लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स ये बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट मरला है. इसके अंदर बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस और बहुत सारी मुश्किलें आपको फेस करनी पड़ती होंगी. उनके बारे में बताएं कि ये क्या क्या एस्पेक्ट्स हैं जो कि चैलेंजिंग हैं इस हवाले से.
इसमें इस्लामाबाद की हद तक जो है लोग बहुत कोऑपरेटिव हैं.
ठीक है.
इनिशियली तो हमें ऐसे कोई इश्यूज जो है ना वो सामने नहीं आए, कोई मसाइल ऐसे दरपेश नहीं हुए. पिछले कुछ दिनों से जो है लोग थोड़ा बहुत जो है अब 2 to 5% लोग जो हैं वो कोऑपरेटिव नहीं है. मतलब हमारे पास 60-70 केस आते हैं, उनमें से 1 या 2 ऐसे बंदे होते हैं जो हमसे कोऑपरेट नहीं करते, या वो अपना कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर जो है वो ऑफ़ कर देते हैं. उनके घर जाएँ तो वो किसी बंदे को बाहर भेजेंगे, वो कहेंगे जी ये रॉन्ग एड्रेस है, इधर ये बंदा नहीं रहता. तो इस तरह के अभी हमें थोड़े बहुत मसाइल आ रहे हैं.
खौफ सा पाया जा रहा है, आप कह सकते हैं.
खौफ इस्लामाबाद की हद तक लोगों में इस तरह का खौफ नहीं है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे लोग जो हैं बाशऊर हैं, पढ़े लिखे हैं, मिडिल क्लास के हैं मेजॉरिटी लोग, तो वो कोऑपरेट करते हैं. हम फ़ोन करें, कॉल करें, उसका भी वो अच्छी तरह जवाब देते हैं, हमारी बात सुनते हैं, उस पर अमल करते हैं. दूसरा ये कि कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग के बाद जो इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ होती है, हम उनको होम आइसोलेशन के बारे में गाइड करते हैं, बताते हैं, क्योंकि इस्लामाबाद की हद तक ये पॉलिसी है कि जो लोग एसिम्टोमेटिक हैं, जिनमें अलामात नहीं ज़ाहिर होती, उनको हम घरों में महदूद रखते हैं.
ठीक है.
तो वो होम आइसोलेशन के जितनी चीज़ें हैं, अहम नकात होते हैं, वो हम उनको बताते हैं, और उनमें से मेजॉरिटी जो है 90-95% लोग उन पर अमल करते हैं. बहुत कम ऐसे लोग होते हैं जो उस पर अमल नहीं करते, और उसकी फिर इतला हमें सिटी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से दी जाती है. फिर हम उनको कॉल करके दोबारा गाइड करते हैं, काउंसिल करते हैं, तो अक्सर वो लोग हमारी बात मानते हैं. अगर इस तरह का कोई केस आ जाए जो कोऑपरेट ना करे, घूमता फिरता रहे, तो वो उसको फिर ये है कि क्वारंटीन सेंटर में शिफ्ट किया जाता है, ताकि कम्युनिटी में उसकी वजह से मज़ीद स्प्रेड ना हो.
ठीक है. तो जिन लोगों से आपका राब्ता नहीं हो पा रहा होता, उस केस में आप लोग किस तरह से फिर कांटेक्ट करते हैं?
उसमें ये होता है कि सिटी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को फिर हम वो जो लोग होते हैं वो नोटिफाई करते हैं, वो उन लोगों को ट्रेस करते हैं, और अमूमन वो लोग ट्रेस हो जाते हैं. तो जहाँ पे हों, अगर इस्लामाबाद के अंदर हों तो हम ख़ुद उनकी कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग करते हैं. अगर इस्लामाबाद से बाहर किसी और जगह में हो तो वहाँ की जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होती है, वहाँ का डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेल्थ ऑफिस या DC ऑफिस, उसको हम नोटिफाई करते हैं. तो वो वहाँ जाके उस लोकेशन पे जाके उन लोगों को बताते हैं बीमारी के बारे में, उसकी अलामात के बारे में, और अगर उनको सैंपल्स की ज़रूरत हो, कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग की ज़रूरत हो, तो वो उनकी कॉन्टैक्ट ट्रेसिंग करते हैं.
ठीक.
तो डॉक्टर में क्या ऐसी सिचुएशन आपको नज़र आती है जहाँ पर हमें एक ही बंदे के मल्टीपल टेस्ट भी करने की ज़रूरत हो?
मल्टीपल टेस्ट ये है कि हम अगर एक बंदा पॉजिटिव आता है तो जो अभी तक हमारा SOP चल रहा है वो ये है कि हम 14वें दिन उसका दोबारा टेस्ट करते हैं. अगर वो नेगेटिव आता है तो उसके फ़ौरन बाद एक और नेगेटिव टेस्ट अगर आ जाए तो हम उसको रिकवरी में डाल देते हैं. कुछ केसेस हैं, कम हैं, 3 to 5% केसेस ऐसे हैं जिनका हम रिपीट टेस्ट करते हैं तो वो पॉजिटिव आ जाता है. तो जब पॉजिटिव आता है फिर 5 से 7 दिनों बाद दोबारा उनका टेस्ट करना होता है. किसी भी मरीज़ को हम अगर उसको लेबल करना चाहें कि वो रिकवर हो चुका है, तो उसके लिए हमें 2 नेगेटिव टेस्ट चाहिए होते हैं कॉन्टीन्यूस, मतलब ऑल्टरनेट डेज पे.
ठीक.
24 आवर
ये क्राइटेरिया उसको
जी ये क्राइटेरिया
इंश्योर करने का कि नेगेटिव या रिकवर हो चुके हैं.
जी बिल्कुल.
जी ठीक है. ऑफ कोर्स जैसे कि आपने बात की, दिस इज़ रियली इम्पोर्टेंट दैट द कोऑपरेशन ऑफ द पीपल इज़ प्रेजेंट, बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर वर्किंग विद द पीपल एंड यू आर गोइंग डोर टू डोर, you need to make sure that those people are responding to you, otherwise your actions are not going to be fulfilled. And of course similarly मैम बिल्किस, आपका भी काम इसी तरह से जहाँ आप लोगों से राब्ता खुद करें और ख़ुद कांटेक्ट उनसे करें, और इसलिए बड़ा अहम है कि आपकी जो लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर्स जाती हैं जिन घरों में, वहाँ पर जो लोग मौजूद हैं वो उनकी बात सुने, उनकी बात माने, या उनसे कोऑपरेट करें, उनको सीरियसली लें. ऐसे कोई इश्यूज लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर्स को फेस होते हैं जिन इलाकों में या जिन घरों में वो जाती हैं? क्या लोग वहाँ आमतौर पर बात मानते हैं उनकी या सुनने को तैयार होते हैं?
वैसे तो लोग जो है ना कोविड की वजह से बहुत ज़्यादा वो खौफो हरास का शिकार थे, लेकिन लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर जहाँ पे भी जाती है उनको ये बताती है कि आप लोग इस बात से खौफो हरास का शिकार ना हो, हमने आपकी ज़िंदगी बचानी है, आपकी सेहत के लिए ये ज़रूरी है कि वो जो बातें बताती है उसकी बात पर इलाके वाले ज़्यादा तवज्जो देते हैं. और इसके अलावा ये होता है कि वो जब उनको बताती है कि वो क्योंकि उसी कम्युनिटी से होती है तो लिहाजा उसकी बात को मानी जाती है, और वो सर्वेलेंस भी करती है. सिर्फ हेल्थ एजुकेशन नहीं देती, बल्कि वो जो कोविड के हों या किसी भी डिज़ीज़ के जो पेशेंट होते हैं, वो किसी और से वो अपनी बात तो छुपाते हैं, लेकिन लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर पे वो इतना भरोसा करते हैं, वो फिर उसको बता देते हैं। तो फिर इससे क्या होता है कि हमारी लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर उनकी मतलब कॉन्टेक्ट लेकर फिर वो हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेल्थ ऑफिस में अपनी सुपरवाइज़र के थ्रू वो केस रिपोर्ट करती है। तो इस तरह हम पेशेंट को जो है उनकी ट्रैकिंग करके उनको टेस्ट के लिए
तो फिर आपको वो रिपोर्ट जाती है, फिर आप आगे से बताती हैं?
हाँ जी हाँ, अब वो लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर लेडी हेल्थ सुपरवाइज़र्स को देती हैं, वो फिर मुझे देती हैं और मैं आगे DHO साहब तक फॉरवर्ड करते हैं। लेकिन ये जो मेन रोल है लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर का पेशेंट को ट्रैक करने में, और वो ट्रेस करती है, और वो बहुत ही जितना ज़्यादा, क्योंकि ग्रास रूट लेवल पे लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर जाकर काम कर सकती है, और ये हैं भी फीमेल, और इन पे एक फ़ीमेल होने की वजह से ज़्यादा इलाके वाले जो हैं ट्रस्ट करते हैं, और ये इस वजह से
ख़वातीन भी उनसे
आराम से बात कर सकती हैं। मेल भी जो होते हैं ये देखते हैं कि ये एक फ़ीमेल हमारे घर में आई है हमें बताने के लिए, तो वो उस पे भरोसा रखते हुए अपनी वो फिर बात बता देते हैं कि इसमें ये अलामात पाई जाती हैं, क्योंकि उन्हें पता है कि ये इन्हें सही गाइड करेगी। तो इसीलिए क्योंकि ये वो वाहिद गवर्नमेंट का ख़वातीन का इदारा कह लें कि जो सबसे ज़्यादा फ्रंट लाइन पे आकर ये काम कर रहे हैं।
What a wonderful thing, and it's like you mentioned that this is something that should be appreciated more.
Absolutely, and the thing is that of course, like Ma'am Bilqis mentioned, that these are female workers, and of course women are very, very important in every fight, and even in Pakistan we see that it is the ladies who are also stepping up and making sure that the health of people is protected, and it's wonderful.
Wonderful indeed. इस्माइल, आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा क्योंकि आप फ्रंट लाइन पर इन्वॉल्व हैं और डेफिनेटली हम सबकी अपनी फैमिलीज़ भी हैं, तो एक वो डेफिनेटली भी चीज़ कंसिडर करनी पड़ती है क्योंकि अभी ईद का भी मौका है, फैमिली से भी दूर हैं, ज़्यादा टाइम डेफिनेटली लैब में ही गुजारा है, और फिर एक खौफ सा भी होता है कि मेरी वजह से मेरी फैमिली तक कोई ऐसी चीज़ ना पहुँचे।
उसका सर यही होता है कि अब जब जाते हैं तो बच्चों से लाजिम बात है, बच्चों को साइड पर रखते, सबसे पहले वही है, तो कोशिश करते कि अलग ही रहे बच्चों से ज़्यादातर, मतलब 1.5-2 महीनों के बच्चों से ज़्यादा अलग रहते हैं, बच्चों को गुजारिश वो करते कि बच्चों को करीब ना जाए, तो अपनी भी सर करते, बस क्या कर मजबूरी काम तो करना पड़ता है सर।
काम तो डेफिनेटली
Absolutely, because आप लोग ही हमारे heroes हैं, of course these unsung heroes are the reason why we can sit and happily enjoy our occasions and of course our Eids and other festivities. And of course regarding the compromises that come along with this duty that you're playing, Dr. Taimur, of course हमने जैसे बात की ईद का मौका है, और भी बहुत सारे मौके आते हैं जहाँ पे हमेशा ड्यूटी को शायद पहले तरजीह देनी पड़ती है और घर वालों को नहीं देनी पड़ती, एंड इट्स नॉट जस्ट कि आप अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट करें, बल्कि आप मतलब अपनी खुशी को भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ कर रहे हैं और उस चीज़ को सैक्रिफाइस करें, तो कितना मुश्किल हो जाता है, स्पेशली कोरोना वायरस जैसा क्राइसिस पहली दफ़ा पाकिस्तान ने देखा है। इस केस में कितना मुश्किल है इन चीज़ों को डील करना, साथ साथ आपके अपने इश्यूज़ हैं, अपने फैमिली लाइफ है, इमोशंस हैं, स्ट्रेस है, उन सब को आप किस तरह से हैंडल करते हैं?
देखें, इश्यूज़ तो हैं, हर जो हेल्थ केयर वर्कर है उसको ये इश्यूज़ दरपेश आ रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारा ये फ़र्ज़ है, इस पेशे से जब हम मुंसलिक हुए हैं तो हमने एक अहद किया था कि हम इंसानियत की खिदमत करेंगे, तो इंसानियत की खिदमत करने के नाते हम अपनी फैमिली से दूर हैं। बाकी फैमिली के साथ जो है फैमिली से दूर रहना पड़ता है, अगर घर भी जाते हैं तो हमें सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग जो है उस पर अमल करना पड़ता है, अपने आप को जो है एंटीसेप्टिक यूज़ करके, और उसके बावजूद फिर भी हम कोशिश करते हैं कि अपनी फैमिली में कोई अगर एल्डर है तो उससे हम डिस्टेंस रखें। तो ये ऐसे मुश्किलात तो सामने पेश आ रही हैं, लेकिन अब ये हमारा फ़र्ज़ है कि हम इंसानियत की खिदमत की खातिर फ्रंट लाइन पे आके लोगों की जो सेहत है उसका ख्याल रखें, लोगों को इसके बारे में अवेयरनेस दें और उनको इस बीमारी के बारे में बताएं। हम उनको बताते हैं, गाइड करते हैं अच्छी तरह के, बेशक आप में अलामात नज़र नहीं आ रही, लेकिन आपके अंदर जरासीम है, वो आपसे किसी दूसरे बंदे को ट्रांसफ़र हो सकता है। तो जो जवान लोग हैं जिनकी उम्र इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं है, उनमें तो कोई मुश्किलात दरपेश नहीं आती, कोई कॉम्प्लिकेशंस नहीं आती, लेकिन अगर उसी फैमिली में कोई उनके बुज़ुर्ग हैं या किसी को दिल की बीमारी है, शुगर की बीमारी है, या गुर्दों की बीमारी है, या और कोई क्रॉनिक जो डिज़ीज़ है, तो उसको अगर ये इन्फेक्शन होगी तो उसमें कॉम्प्लिकेशंस के चांसेस भी बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं, जानलेवा साबित हो सकती है। तो इस तरह हम लोगों को ये सारी चीज़ें जब मालूमात देते हैं उनको, तो फिर वो इन चीज़ों पे अमल करते हैं और हमारा साथ देते हैं और अपने आप को महदूद करते हैं। और जब लोग अपने आप को महदूद करते हैं, घरों में रहते हैं, आइसोलेशन, सेल्फ़ आइसोलेशन या होम आइसोलेशन पे अमल करते हैं, तो उसकी वजह से जो इन्फेक्शन है उसके फैलने का जो है ख़तरा कम से कम हो जाता है।
Sana, this is a very
बिल्कुल।
important factor that we keep on mentioning, the fact that you might have a better immune system than many other people and you might be able to survive, but you also have to ensure that you don't become a carrier in these
Right,
circumstances.
right. So it's not just about you and it's not just about us, it's about everyone around us. And for people you care about, you know, you can also think about your family and of course your loved ones, your friends. And there's so many people around us, and as a community it is our responsibility to make sure that it doesn't spread. So you should not only take care of yourself but also of those around you. That's very
Definitely,
important.
we all should, and it's like a global responsibility that all of us share. मैम बिल्किस, आपसे मैं पूछना चाहूँगा ये क्योंकि ख़वातीन के लिए और चैलेंजेस भी हैं और डेफिनेटली अब इतनी मेन स्ट्रीम ऐसी जगहों पर जाकर काम करना, बहुत से चैलेंजेस हमें नज़र आते हैं। तो जब आप एक लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर को एजुकेट करते हैं तो कैसे उसको मोटिवेट करते हैं कि वो इन तमाम चैलेंजेस जिनका वो सामना उसको करना पड़ेगा उनसे गुजर कर अपनी ड्यूटी पूरी तरह से निभाए?
हम लोग उनको सबसे पहले जब कोई भी डिज़ीज़ होती है हम उनको इसके बारे में जब ट्रेनिंग देते हैं, और सबसे बड़ी बात मैं आपको ये बताऊं कि मैं हकीकत में पूरे पाकिस्तान की लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर को खराज तहसीन पेश करना चाहूँगी। और ख़ास तौर पे ये कोविड की जो बात आई है, आप हैरान रहेंगे कि जब इनकी ड्यूटियां लगाएंगी तो कोई ऐसी भी ख़वातीन जो सही तरीके से चल नहीं सकती थी और उन्होंने बड़े फ़ख्र से कहा कि मैडम हम ये ड्यूटी करेंगे, हम इंसानियत की खिदमत करेंगे और हम लोगों की जान बचाएंगे। तो यकीन करें कि हम उनको पहले ट्रेन करते हैं, फिर उनकी अपनी प्रोटेक्शन के बारे में बताकर फिर उनको करते हैं। और वो इतने जज्बे के साथ इस कोविड में हमारी लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर ने काम किया है कि ये सिर्फ कोविड की बात नहीं है, कोई भी पाकिस्तान के लिए चैलेंज होगा,
बिल्कुल।
हम तमाम लेडीज़ फ्रंट लाइन पे आकर अपने मुल्क के लिए काम करेंगी,
जी।
इंसानियत की खिदमत करेंगी और हम ये साबित करके बताएंगी कि ख़वातीन अगर किसी मुल्क की सेहत के उसमें फ्रंट लाइन पे आकर काम करें तो वो अपने मुल्क को इंशाल्लाह ताला ग्रीन क्लीन एंड हेल्थी पाकिस्तान ज़रूर बना लेंगे
इंशाल्लाह। बिल्कुल, आपने सही कहा, ये उनका जज्बा है जिनकी वजह से हम सब महफूज हैं। इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू एक्नॉलेज दिस अगेन एंड अगेन दैट इट इज़ देयर वर्क व्हिच इज़ एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट एंड इट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू टेक इट सीरियसली ऑल्सो। Ahmed, we were listening to Dr. Taimur talking about how some people may not be taking seriously, and it's okay, maybe a lot of people don't have the understanding, or maybe they think they're not aware of asymptomatic cases, but it's important to listen to the people who are telling you what it is like, because they're fighting the disease at the front line and they know better than you do. इस्माइल साहब, आपसे मैं पूछना चाहूँगी कि जैसे हम सीरियसनेस के बारे में बात कर रहे थे कि ऑफ कोर्स आपकी भी सैम्पलिंग और टेस्टिंग में बड़ा ज़रूरी है कि लोग ये सीरियसली लें और ये समझें कि अगर उनको कोई तकलीफ़ है, कोई सिम्टम्स हैं, तो वो अपनी हिफाजत के लिए और दूसरों की हिफाजत के लिए टेस्ट कराएं या और चीज़ों की एहतियात करें। आपके ख्याल से जिस तरह की कुर्बानियाँ आप लोग देते हैं रोज़ाना की बेसिस पे, उस सेंस में आपको लगता है कि लोग शायद वाकई इस बात को एक्नॉलेज करते हैं, उनके जहनों में होता है कि कितनी फ़ाइट की जा रही है या कितना कुछ इसके अंदर आप लोग अपनी जान और माल के कुर्बानियाँ दे रहे हैं?
उसमें मैडम ये शुरू में इतना लोगों को नहीं था, अभी तो माशाल्लाह सबका वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा बेहतर है। उसको हल्की भी खांसी होती है, हेल्पलाइन पे कॉल कर लेते कि मुझे ये इशू चल रहा है, तो हम फ़ौरन
अच्छा।
पहुंच जाते, उसके सैंपल कर ले, उसको बता दें कि आप परेशान ना हो, आराम करें, फैमिली से अलग रहे, अपनी वो हिफाजत करे, हाथ बार बार धोए, किसी चीज़ को टच ना करे फजूल, अपने बच्चों से अलग रहे, फैमिली से अलग रहे। जब तक आपके सैंपल रिपोर्ट नहीं आती तब तक आप कोशिश करें डिस्टेंस रखे, बच्चों से दूर अलग एक कमरे में रहे।
Bilkul, definitely. Like Sana mentioned, it's very important, and like Ismail just mentioned as well, that people who are now even having the basic of symptoms are calling up for testing as well. Dr. Taimur, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा कि एक अनफॉर्चुनेट सिनारियो हमने ये भी देखा है जहाँ पर कुछ लैब्स में लोगों के टेस्ट हमें नेगेटिव नज़र आए, फिर उसके बाद पॉजिटिव भी नज़र आना शुरू हुए, तो लोगों में एक अजीब सा वहम जनरेट होना शुरू हो गया कि शायद टेस्टिंग कैपेबिलिटीज़ जो हैं वो पूरी तरह से नहीं है। इस बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
इसमें जो है काफ़ी ज़्यादा फैक्टर्स जो हैं वो इन्वॉल्व हैं। अगर एक बंदा पॉजिटिव आ जाता है किसी लैब से तो उसको हमें 14 दिन के लिए पॉजिटिव कंसीडर करना चाहिए। अब जिन लोगों के नेगेटिव टेस्ट आ जाते हैं उसमें टेस्टिंग किट जो है उसका भी मसला दरपेश आ सकता है। उसके अलावा जो बंदा टेस्ट ले रहा है उसकी एक्सपर्टीज़ कैसी है, टेस्ट लेने का तरीका कैसा है। उसके अलावा टेस्टिंग किट जो है उसको ट्रांसफ़र करना, लेबॉर्ट्री तक लेके जाना, उसका एक टेम्परेचर मेंटेन करना होता है, कोल्ड चेन कहते हैं उसको। अगर वो मेंटेन ना की जाए तो इसकी वजह से जो है नताइज मुख्तलिफ आ सकते हैं।
और ये बहुत एक इम्पॉर्टेंट सवाल है जो तमाम लोग पूछना चाहेंगे कि जिन लोगों को आप 14 दिन के लिए क्वारंटीन करते हैं घर पर, जिनका टेस्ट डेफिनेटली पॉजिटिव आता है, क्योंकि इस बीमारी की अभी तक वैक्सीनेशन तो नहीं है, तो क्या तदाबीर उनको बताई जाती हैं, क्या ऐसी अद्वियात हैं जो उनको बताई जाती हैं जो इस दौरान वो यूज़ करते हैं?
अभी तक तो इस बीमारी की कोई एक स्पेसिफ़िक ट्रीटमेंट तो नहीं है, लेकिन हम लोगों को बताते हैं कि जो जो अलामात आपको आएँ, हम एक तो उनको अपना नंबर देते हैं, हेल्पलाइन नंबर देते हैं, या डॉक्टर जो विज़िट करता है उसका नंबर होता है। तो जो जो अलामात आती हैं उसके मुताबिक उनको दवाई तजवीज़ की जाती है। ज़्यादातर लोगों में बुखार की अलामत सामने आती है, जिस्म में दर्द होता है, या किसी को फ़्लू की तरह की जो है अलामात आती हैं, तो उसमें पैरासीटामोल लेनी होती है या एंटी एलर्जिक लेनी होती है। कुछ लोगों को जो है खांसी होती है, उसके लिए खांसी का सिरप। फिर हम लोगों को बताते हैं कि अगर आपको सांस की तकलीफ़ थोड़ी सी भी सांस की तकलीफ़ में मसला बने तो आप फ़ौरन हमसे रब्ता करें। एक तो हमारी हेल्पलाइन है, डॉक्टर का नंबर होता है, उसके अलावा फेडरल गवर्नमेंट की एक हेल्पलाइन है, तो उनको हम बता देते हैं कि जैसे ही आपको सांस का थोड़ा सा भी मसला दरपेश हो, आप फ़ौरन इस हेल्पलाइन पे रब्ता करें।
I think, Sana, all of this information is something that needs to be there for the public, and through this platform of PTV World celebrating these unsung heroes, I think this is what we intend to do, is bring all of this information out.
Right, and highlight the issues that these people are facing, because of course it's very important for us to help them and to not contribute to their problems already, because they're obviously facing a lack of resources, they're dealing with so many patients, and they're overwhelmed with how the coronavirus is spreading in the country, and it's a need to make sure that this is obviously catered and we also help them in doing so.
Absolutely. I think we must celebrate these heroes who are on the front lines. Dr. Taimur, Ma'am Bilkis, and of course Ismail, we would like to thank you for your services for the Pakistani nation. All of you are heroes for us as well.
Thank you so much.
And we definitely have a lot of prayers and a lot of appreciation for you as well.
थैंक यू जी, आपने हमें खराज तहसीन पेश किया।
नहीं बिल्कुल,
बहुत आपकी नवाजिश पीटीवी का हम शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहते हैं, और अपनी आवाम का जो हमारे साथ कोऑपरेट कर रहे हैं उन सब का हम शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं।
Thank you very much, and we'll keep the discussion going. Of course, it's Eid, and we'll keep celebrating these heroes at the same time as well. I think more heroes are to come in our next segment, and stay tuned. But definitely, as Sana would like to mention once again, that Eid Mubarak, but responsibly. Welcome back to this very special show on Eid. Of course, here at PTV World, we're celebrating those unsung heroes who are leading the battle against COVID-19. Of course, this Eid is all about them and paying tributes to them for their services. And of course, before the break, we did give you an analysis of the frontline heroes and what their lives are like being on the front line battling COVID-19 as well. And we definitely have some more people and some more heroes to talk about.
And of course, there are so many more out there in our country who are doing their job, and of course, who are making sure that we are safe. So these are just a few of the unsung heroes that we're showing you on television, but you should know that there are so many people out there who are protecting you, and that it is your responsibility making sure that you do not add to their woes and you help them in fighting this coronavirus. So without further ado, let me introduce our first guest on the show. He is the District Surveillance Officer, Dr. Subhan Daghari. Thank you very much, Dr. Subhan. Eid Mubarak.
आपको ईद मुबारक।
Thank you.
We also have been joined by a data analyst, and of course, she's a social media manager as well. She's Miss Mavra Irshad. Assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
How are
Eid
you?
Mubarak to you too. Thank you. I'm good.
Right, and we also have been joined by the Additional District Health Officer, Dr. Fawad Khalid Khan. Thank you very much, Dr. Fawad, for being with us. Assalamu alaikum and Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
Right, of course, and this is such a special occasion on Eid, and what we'd like to start off, of course, with is that on these occasions, of course, all of you are performing your duties while the country is fighting coronavirus by staying at home, but you're, of course, fighting the virus right from the front lines. तो आप लोगों को इस तरह के मौक़ों पर और ईद के मौक़ों पर कैसा फील होता है कि आप लोग ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट ड्यूटीज़ और इतनी रिस्पॉन्सिबली उन ड्यूटीज़ को निभा रहे हैं?
देखिए, जितने भी ये इवेंट्स होते हैं, ऑब्वियसली हर किसी का दिल चाह रहा होता है कि वो घर के साथ रहे, फैमिली मेम्बर्स के साथ रहे, लेकिन जब हम ओथ लेते हैं तो हमारा ओथ ही बेसिकली यही होता है कि अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ, अपनी हेल्थ, अपनी लाइफ को आप बेशक रिस्क पे डाल सकते हैं, लेकिन लोगों को जो है आपने वो हेल्थ जो है प्रोवाइड करनी है, हेल्थ केयर जो है प्रोवाइड करनी है। तो डेफिनेटली ईद घर के साथ गुजारना, सबके साथ, पेरेंट्स के साथ, फैमिली के साथ एक हर कोई चाह रहा होता है, लेकिन उससे बड़ा काज जो होता है वो ये है कि हम जो जितने भी लोग हैं, पेशेंट्स हैं हमारे जितनी सोसाइटी में, अगर उनके लिए कुछ कर सकते हैं तो वो ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, डेफिनेटली वो ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है।
Because of course, and it's such a huge thing to making
A
the
sacrifice,
sacrifice, absolutely, and then putting other people's lives ahead of your own. That's something you should also do, Amit.
I think all of us do that daily once we keep people informed, because being part of the media, I think we become essential workers as well. During the entire time we've been updating you on the facts and figures, and definitely that's part of being essential workers and giving your part to society as well. I must ask Mawar, technological advancement, this is an era of technological gizmos, but being a data scientist, how do you see data being a very important factor of actually mapping COVID-19 in Pakistan?
It's a very important part. Like when the things are like that, when we get positive patients, there are a lot of people in the city who are waiting for the results and who are waiting for the things that which area is most affected, and we have to update them accordingly. That which area today got the most positive patients, and then which like we have to make the proper shape of the data that is accessible and that is understandable for the public. So that is very important, to make it easier for the public and then showing it to the public.
Yeah.
So what goes into doing that? What sort of effort is required and what measures do you take?
The measures basically, like we are working as a team, and we put the technology part in that, the whole system, that it makes the things much more easier. So we are actually helping the doctors and the frontliners. So it makes the things easy going for them.
Right, of course. So we'd also like to, of course, ask Dr. Fawad also, like, and do we need to ask and understand the fact that there are so many people that you're dealing with, right? And your efforts and their success are dependent upon the way people react to you and how they cooperate with you. And the kind of efforts that all of you are highlighting, of course, they need to be people friendly as well. So in that sense, in your work, how have you seen people's cooperation and the way they have responded to whatever it is that you're suggesting them to do or making sure for their own health?
Right. हमारी जो बेसिकली जितनी भी सारी सर्वेलेंस टीम्स हैं वो फील्ड में जाके केस इन्वेस्टिगेशन करती हैं, उनकी कॉन्टेक्ट ट्रेसिंग करती हैं और वहाँ पे जाके रिस्क कम्युनिकेशन करती हैं. इनिशियली लोगों में थोड़ा फ़ियर फैक्टर है, थोड़ा सा खौफ है कि अगर ये लोगों को पता चल गया या उनके कम्युनिटी में पता चल गया कि हमारे घर में कोई कोविड पॉजिटिव केस है तो पता नहीं क्या होगा, कम्युनिटी कैसे रिएक्ट करेगी. लेकिन थोड़ा सा कम्युनिटी को कोऑपरेट करना चाहिए और फैमिलीज़ को भी इतना आइडिया होना चाहिए कि उनको सिर्फ हमारी जो टीम्स होती हैं जब उनके घर में जाती हैं, रिस्क कम्युनिकेशन करके आती हैं, उनको ये पूरा गाइड करके आती हैं, हेल्थ एजुकेशन करते हैं कि जब आपने अपने घर में सिर्फ सेल्फ आइसोलेट हो जाना है, अगर आप अपने घर में सही तरह आइसोलेशन मेजर्स अडॉप्ट करते हैं और सारी फैमिली क्वारंटाइन हो जाती है तो फिर ये आपकी कम्युनिटी में नहीं फैलता. और इसी तरह कम्युनिटी को भी पता होना चाहिए कि ये एक घर के अंदर ही उस कमरे के अंदर ही चीज़ है जो ख़त्म हो जाएगी. 14 डेज़ के बाद आपके वहाँ से इन्फेक्शन वगैरह सारा ख़त्म हो जाएगा. तो लोगों में जूँ अवेयरनेस आ रही है, हमारी टीम्स जाती हैं, लोगों को पता चलता है कि भाई ये टीम्स आई हैं, इनके घर में गई थी, रिस्क कम्युनिकेशन किया, तो लोगों में वो खौफ ख़त्म हो जाता है. फिर हमारा उनके साथ कांटेक्ट रहता है. नेक्स्ट 14 डेज़ के लिए हम उनके साथ ऑन कॉल भी अपने साथ रहते हैं, उनको बताते हैं, गाइड करते रहते हैं. 14 डेज़ के बाद हम उनके दोबारा रीटेस्टिंग करते हैं और जब वो टेस्ट उनके दोनों नेगेटिव हो जाते हैं तो फिर हम उनको कहते हैं कि जी अब आप फ्री हैं. तो लोगों का अब आहिस्ता कोऑपरेशन बढ़ रहा है, वरना
जैसे समझ आ रही
जी.
Confidence is building, definitely,
right.
But there are so many myths involved, and I think the first factor has to be the acceptance, because Dr. Subhan, people are still not accepting the fact that this is a real disease. We have still so many people who think that this is just a myth.
So ये बहुत एक अनफॉर्चुनेट बात है कि हमारी सोसाइटी में मिथ्स पे बहुत ज़्यादा बिलीव किया जाता है. सोशल मीडिया और जितने भी इस तरह के चीज़ें हैं वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा बिलीव किया जाता है. द पॉइंट इज़ अगर एक हेल्थ से रिलेटेड इशू है तो आपको उसकी बात सुननी चाहिए जो हेल्थ से रिलेटेड बंदा है. पब्लिक हेल्थ का इशू है तो पब्लिक हेल्थ का एक्सपर्ट से पूछें. ऑब्वियसली अगर कोई आपका इकोनॉमिक्स से रिलेटेड कोई इशू होगा तो आप उससे पूछेंगे. अगर आप हर चीज़ को सोशल मीडिया पर जाकर देखना शुरू कर देंगे तो मिथ्स बहुत ज़्यादा है. जितने भी मिथ्स आपने देखे होंगे, ऑब्वियसली आप लोग इस चीज़ को देखते रहते हैं, 99% वो बिल्कुल ही प्रोपेगेंडा है और झूठ है, और इसका उल्टा नुकसान होता है एक्चुअली. आप इसको एक डिजीज़ को एक मजाक समझना शुरू कर देते हो, तो उसका जो फिर इफेक्ट होता है वो फिर कुछ अरसे बाद आता है, और वो जो इफेक्ट होता है वो ज़्यादा डेंजरस होता है।
Most bizarre myth you have heard about COVID-19 so far?
Most bizarre myth, I don't know, all of them have been so bizarre, but there are so many, I don't think I can point out one right now.
Because there was one initially which you said, in which it was told that if you hold your breath for a certain amount of time, that means you don't have COVID-19.
Really? I didn't hear that one.
So there's so many myths that we keep on talking about, and
Absolutely.
I think Dr. Subhan is absolutely right that at least, you know, the best you can do is
listen
only listen to the experts.
Absolutely. But Mavra, your job comes into this as well, I think, because you're the social media manager. And so do you do some work regarding making sure that you bust these myths, or that you point out to people that something is fake and it's not real and it won't really give you the kind of ease that or comfort that people are saying, or won't prevent you or cure you from corona?
There are a lot of cures that we get every day about the things that about the myths and about the outbreak. So we are already responding to them 24/7. We are responding to them, and we are giving them awareness regarding to that, how you can prevent that disease and how you should move in your area and how which area should be avoided. So people are getting much more awareness in that way.
Okay,
it's
that's
very
great.
really very helpful.
It's really important for people to understand the disease itself, so that they can follow the SOPs and the preventions.
Yeah,
right?
the prevention is very important. Dr. Fawad, we're talking about these myths. One certain thing that we see is that a lot of these symptoms are related to a normal flu that one might have. What is the line that you draw once you can understand that this is not a normal flu now, I need to get tested?
इनिशियली तो हमें जो WHO की तरफ से हम जो केस डेफिनेशन फॉलो कर रहे थे उसमें तो यही था कि अगर किसी को बुखार है, खांसी है, गला ख़राब है, सांस में दुश्वारी है या फ्लू लाइक सिम्टम्स हैं तो हम उनको कह सकते हैं कि इनको कोविड पॉजिटिव हो सकते हैं वो। लेकिन अभी जब हम केस इन्वेस्टिगेशन करने जाते हैं, उनके कॉन्टेक्ट्स की सैम्पलिंग करते हैं और बाज़ औक़ात वो बिल्कुल एसिम्प्टोमेटिक होते हैं, हम उनको देख के ये नहीं कह सकते कि उनको कोविड है, लेकिन जब हम उनका टेस्ट करते हैं तो वो कोविड पॉजिटिव आते हैं। तो अब मतलब ये हम एक लाइन इस तरह नहीं कह सकते कि अगर इसको फ्लू है तो हम बाकी इसको कोविड पॉजिटिव। समटाइम्स वो बंदा बिल्कुल नॉर्मल होगा बैठा हुआ, और जब आप उनको टेस्ट करेंगे तो कोविड पॉजिटिव होगा।
But then when should they get tested?
देखिए, इसकी कुछ क्राइटेरिया ये बनाया गया है कि अगर किसी भी कोविड पॉजिटिव केस के साथ आपका क्लोज कांटेक्ट हुआ है तो फिर उनका फिर टेस्ट लाजमी करेंगे हम लोग। जब भी हम मतलब जो हम केस इन्वेस्टिगेशन करते हैं, जब हमारे पास डेली लाइन लिस्ट आती है, हमारे पास पॉजिटिव केसेस आते हैं, तो फिर हम उनके घरों में जाते हैं, उनके कहते हैं कि आपके क्लोज कॉन्टैक्ट्स कौन थे। तो क्लोज कॉन्टैक्ट्स का फिर आप उनकी वर्क प्लेस में भी हो सकते हैं, उनकी फैमिली में भी हो सकते हैं। क्लोज कॉन्टैक्ट्स की थोड़ी सी हम जो डेफिनेशन फॉलो करते हैं WHO की तरफ से वो ये होता है कि अगर हम किसी के साथ फिज़िकल कांटेक्ट हुआ है, हमने हैंड शेक किया है या हमने हक किया है किसी को, एक हमारे वो हो गए। दूसरा, अगर हम किसी के साथ विदिन 2 मीटर्स बैठे हैं और 15 मिनट से ज़्यादा बैठे हैं, वो हमारे क्लोज कॉन्टैक्ट्स में आएंगे। तीसरा, अगर हम किसी क्लोज इन्वायरमेंट में बैठे हैं एक बंद कमरे में, और अगर हमारा 2 मीटर से ज़्यादा का फासला है लेकिन हम 2 घंटे से ज़्यादा वहाँ पे बैठे हैं, तो वो भी हमारे क्लोज कॉन्टैक्ट्स में आएंगे। तो इन सब का टेस्ट करवाना फिर लाजमी होता है।
ठीक है, ये बड़ा ज़रूरी है टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जितनी आपने whatever measures you have taken regarding social distancing or being away from each other, they're also obviously conditional as well in closed environments, or if you spend a long period of time like Doctor has mentioned.
Yeah, but it's very important. But it's important to understand the seriousness of this disease, that as Dr. Fawad mentioned, there are people who might not show any symptoms at all. And definitely I would like to ask Dr. Subhan that is there a different time for them to recover, because they can only be a carrier, they're not showing any symptoms. So what is the amount of time for them?
Do they start showing symptoms later on?
जी, बेसिकली ये वेरी करता है, पर्सन टू पर्सन वेरी कर रहा है। जैसे अक्सर हम जब जाते हैं काउंसलिंग के लिए तो यही बता रहे होते हैं, कुछ पेशेंट्स में 1 हफ्ते में ये रिकवर हो रहा है, और सम टाइम 1.5 महीना भी ले रहा होता है। सिम्टम्स की बात है, इंक्यूबेशन पीरियड होता है 2 to 14 डेज़ में सिम्टम्स आ सकती हैं, बट आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि 14 डेज़ के बाद सिम्टम्स नहीं आएंगे। बाज़ वक़्त कुछ लोग ये समझ रहे होते हैं कि 14 डेज़ बाद वो रिकवर हो जाते हैं, वो एक अलग चीज़ है। इंक्यूबेशन पीरियड होता है, सिम्टम्स आना एक अलग चीज़ है। 14 डेज़ के बाद लाजमी नहीं है कि सब ठीक हो जाए। हमने कुछ ऐसा देखा है कि कुछ लोग 14 डेज़ के बाद आइसोलेशन ख़त्म कर देते हैं, फैमिली मेम्बर्स के साथ उठ बैठ रहे हैं, बाहर जा रहे हैं, तो ऐसा नहीं है। तो जब तक वो 2 बार नेगेटिव नहीं आता तब तक वो कोरोना वायरस उनके अंदर है।
And this can go more than 14 days.
Yes.
This is very
1.5 महीने तक हमने 1.5 मंथ तक हमने कुछ केसेस देखे हैं जो पॉजिटिव रहे हैं, उसके बाद जाके नेगेटिव हुए, बेशक वो सिम्टोमेटिक थे या नहीं थे। बट कोरोना वायरस अगर उनके अंदर है दे कैन ट्रांसमिट इट.
It's not necessary that in those 14 days the virus would go away.
Right, and this is something I think which is a misconception also out there, that you have a 14-day period after which you're good to go, which is not the case. So you have to be extremely careful, and you have to be aware of how you are interacting with the people around you, so that if you do think that you may have coronavirus, you can also talk about the other people you've come into contact with, and then you can stay away from them and also help these workers who are making sure that the spread is curtailed. Of course, when we talk about this fight against coronavirus, we also heard a lot of talk going around about the fact that there are very few resources, or that our health capacities are limited, or that our healthcare system in general needs to be upgraded also, and there is so much that is required to be done there as well. Mavra, in your particular field, when you're collecting data and you're dealing with technology and then interacting with people, and you also need resources to manage that, how much of a lack do you feel in the resources, and which are the areas do you think that we need to step up so that we can actually improve this fight?
People don't have that much idea that from where the reports are coming and from where the things are coming. The people think that this specific department is doing everything. They are responsible for each and everything. So people, they need to get an idea, and they need to get informed that which department is responsible for which thing. So we respond them accordingly. So there is no lack of technology. We are compensating it, and we are managing everything. So it's pretty much easier.
Okay. Yeah. Dr. how do you feel about this, about the resources and the way you're managing it?
Right now, अभी तो we have got 20 surveillance teams and 19 rapid response teams in the field. अभी तक तो जितने हमारे केसेस आ रहे हैं हमारे लिए हम मतलब बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. हम यही चाहते हैं कि कम्युनिटी हमारे साथ इतना ताउन करे कि ये और ज़्यादा मरीज़ ना आएँ. लेकिन अगर फ़र्ज़ करें कल को बहुत ज़्यादा पैनिक क्रिएट हो लोगों में और केसेस बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएं, यानी अगर लोग इतना ज़्यादा अपना ख्याल नहीं करेंगे. बाज़ औक़ात हमारे पास ऐसा भी होता है कि हम घरों में लोगों को आइसोलेट करके आते हैं, लेकिन हमें पता चलता है कि लोगों में घरों में वो पूरी तरह आइसोलेशन मेजर्स को फॉलो नहीं कर रहे, क्वारंटाइन को फॉलो नहीं कर रहे. इस लिहाज से अगर फ़र्ज़ करें केसेस ज़्यादा होते हैं तो कल को हमारे लिए प्रॉब्लम आ सकता है, लेकिन मीनवाइल वक्ती तौर पे हमारे लिए कोई ऐसा प्रॉब्लम नहीं आ रहा.
Doctor, do you believe that you talk about home isolation for a lot of people? Can you please highlight some of the SOPs that for somebody who is being isolated at home they need to follow, or for somebody who goes into self-isolation, what is the SOP that they need to follow?
देखिए, लोगों के लिए इजी लैंग्वेज में मैं ये बता देता हूँ कि वो एक अपने आप को, अगर किसी का पॉजिटिव आ गया है टेस्ट, वो अपने आप को एक ऐसे अलहदा कमरे में रख लें जिसके साथ अटैच बात हो. उसके बाद उस कमरे में कोई किसी का आना जाना ना हो, वो भी अपने कमरे में अलहदा रहें. अपने कमरे के बाहर उनके एक टेबल रख दें जिसमें घर का जो एक ऐसा फ़र्द है जो 25 से 45 इयर्स का है, जिसकी इम्यूनिटी यानी अच्छी है, वही उनको खाना भी सर्व करेंगे. उनके खाना रखेंगे भी, खाना वापस भी लेकर जाएंगे बर्तन को, और उनके बर्तनों को बाद में साफ़ भी करेंगे. और इसके अलावा वो यहाँ पे ये कर सकते हैं, डिसइंफेक्शन मेजर्स अपने घर के अंदर कर सकते हैं 1% ब्लीच के साथ. डेफिनेटली ये चीज़ें हैं चंद एक जिनको फॉलो करें, घर में अपनी इम्यूनिटी का खुराक अपनी अच्छी रखें, इम्यूनिटी का.
ठीक है. Can you also tell us about the surface protections that we also need to maintain? Of course, there is a distancing that we need to do among people, but which surfaces are more prone to being carriers of corona, or for how long? Can you give us some details regarding that?
देखिए, इसमें जितनी भी जैसे डोर नॉब्स हैं, आपके स्विचेस के ऑन ऑफ करने वाले बटन हैं, हमारी आर्म चेयर्स हैं, हमारे
लिफ्ट्स, एस्केलेटर्स, सो मेनी थिंग्स.
डेफिनेटली ये सारी चीज़ें जहाँ पे हमारे हाथ लगते हैं, ये टेबल की सर्फेसेस हैं, मोबाइल फ़ोन्स, तो इनको हमें डिसइंफेक्ट करना चाहिए. और 1% ब्लीच WHO रिकमेंड करता है, उसके साथ हमें डिसइंफेक्शन करें. दैट्स द बेस्ट थिंग.
That's the best thing to do. But since we're talking about so many myths at the same time as well, there are some realities of this as well. And Dr. Swan, one of them is that if you keep basic hygiene, if you're washing your hands properly, using sanitizers and masks, then you can play a big role in this fight.
डेफिनेटली यही है. जैसे कि बीइंग अ मुस्लिम हम इस पे हमारा बिलीफ भी है, और हम कहते हैं सफाई निस्फ़ ईमान है. बेसिकली ट्रांसमिट कैसे होता है, कफिंग से होगा, स्नीजिंग से होगा या हैंडशेक से होगा। अगर आप साफ़ कर रहे हैं हाथ को, बार बार हैंड वॉश कर रहे हैं 20 सेकंड्स के लिए बेसिकली, आप सैनिटाइज़र यूज़ कर रहे हैं, आप ग्लव्स यूज़ कर रहे हैं, मास्क पहन रहे हैं, तो जो ट्रांसमिट होने का जो भी रूट है वो आप उसको बंद ख़त्म कर रहे हैं। मास्क लगाया हुआ है, आप कफ भी करते हैं तो चांस नहीं है कि वो वायरस जो है ना किसी और परसेंट तक जा सकता है। आप बेसिकली अपने हैंड वॉश कर रहे हैं तो उससे भी यही है। आप सैनिटाइज़र यूज़ कर रहे हैं, तो ये जितनी भी चीज़ें आप एहतियात करेंगे, अपना सफाई का ख्याल रखेंगे, तो चांस कम से कम है कि अगर एक बंदे को है कोरोना तो वो दूसरे को ट्रांसमिट कर सके। इसी तरह अगर खुदा ना खासा किसी को जैसे फिजिकल कंटेक्ट है, जैसे डॉक्टर फवाद ने बताया, तो अगर वायरस उसके हाथ पे आ गया और अगर वो अपनी हैंड वॉश कर रहा है, सैनिटाइज कर रहा है, तो वो जो है उससे क्लियर कर रहा है उसको। तो ऑब्वियसली जितनी सफाई आप रखेंगे उतना आप जो है ना इस पे रिकवर करेंगे।
Right, and Ahmed, another unfortunate reality, of course, is that there are some people who have lost their lives due to coronavirus, and there are some people who are also less immune, and they may be more susceptible to being fatally, being of course. Facing
infected
this,
by that
yes,
as well,
fatally
yes.
infected by this coronavirus, and in such cases, of course, when we were talking about certain myths and false news also spreading, there's also this fear and this anxiety regarding how we're supposed to interact with dead bodies, or how we're supposed to take care of our loved ones or have funeral processions. Regards to that, Mr. Fawad, can you give us any details regarding what sort of measures are there to be taken by families who may unfortunately lose somebody due to coronavirus?
देखिए उसमें सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग या फिज़िकल डिस्टेंसिंग का तो हमें ख़ास ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा। उसमें भी हमारी सर्वेलेंस टीम्स की रैपिड रिस्पांस टीम्स हमारी वहाँ पर जाती हैं और फ्यूनरल के साथ होती हैं। वहाँ पे इवन डेड बॉडी को कबर के अंदर उतारने में भी हमारी टीम्स हेल्प आउट करती हैं। वहाँ पे जितना डिसइंफेक्शन मेजर्स हैं वो करती हैं। उसमें जो हमारी टीम्स वहाँ पे गाइड करती हैं, उन लोगों को ये ख्याल करना चाहते हैं कि जो नमाज जनाजा जब अदा की जाएगी तो उसमें भी कम से कम लोग आएँ, इतने लोग आएँ जिनकी इम्यूनिटी अच्छी हो, जो घर के बुज़ुर्ग अफराद हैं वो उस जनाजे में शिरकत ना करें, और उस जनाजे में भी फासला 6 फुट से ज़्यादा होना चाहिए। ये चीज़ें चंद एक करें तो कोई मसला नहीं।
Okay.
Definitely that is there, and these are certain SOPs that all of us must follow. Dr. Fawad, there is another very important thing to analyze here, is using the right type of masks, because we understand there are different types including surgical, N95, KN95, but what is the recommended mask that we can say is there for anybody to actually protect themselves and other people as well?
जनरल पब्लिक के लिए सर्जिकल मास्क बहुत अच्छा है। सर्जिकल मास्क एक तो मतलब जब आप ये ख्याल करें कि एक केस ने भी सर्जिकल मास्क लगाया हुआ है और जो उसके साथ जो बंदा बैठा हुआ है 2 फुट के फासले पे, हर एक ने अगर सर्जिकल मास्क लगाया हुआ है तो वो एक दूसरे से ख़ुद भी बच रहे हैं और अगले को बचा भी रहे हैं। तो जिन लोगों ने जो डॉक्टर्स हैं जिन्होंने सैम्पल्स लेने हैं पेशेंट्स के, वो N95 मास्क यूज़ करते हैं, लेकिन अदरवाइज़ जो हम केस इन्वेस्टिगेशन भी करते हैं या जनरल पब्लिक के लिए सर्जिकल मास्क आर मोर देन इनफ।
Okay.
That's very important, because we saw such a big myth around that only N95 can protect you, but like Dr. Fawad mentioned as well, a surgical mask, a good quality surgical mask is good enough to protect you and your environment at the same time.
And the thing is that, of course, that we are also facing a lack of resources. Absolutely. And there may be shortages of masks, and we need to make sure that the people who really need them, people who are susceptible, who have less immunity, or who are working with coronavirus patients, they have access to the mask and they are able to protect themselves. Mavra, I'd like to ask you a question regarding your work. Of course, when you talk about being a data analyst, you're also required to do a lot of coordination as well, and we need coordination on a national level as well, and with different departments working together, because that's the only way we can fight this pandemic. So with regards to what goes on in terms of the coordinated efforts required by different departments, do you feel that everyone is on the same page? The different departments that are working together, they are working under a comprehensive national strategy, and everyone's following in the same direction?
Yes, because this is pandemic and this emergency situation. So everybody is coordinating with each other, and they are totally in contact with each other, and they are helping each other. Like somebody is creating the data, somebody is creating the situation report, and they collectively at the day of end they put their things together and then show it to the public, and then like they start working on that data.
Definitely, the synergy between all of these elements and all of these departments is absolutely essential and crucial for all of us to win this fight against COVID-19. Obviously, as a nation, we have dealt with challenges in the past, and inshallah, we hope to overcome the challenge of corona. Finally, would you like to have a talk to them, give a message out to them as well?
देखिए, जहाँ तक हमने पहले बात की, मिथ्स बहुत सारे हैं, लेकिन मिथ्स के साथ एक रियलिटी है. ओवर 1000 पीपल हैव डाइड पिछले कुछ अरसे में पाकिस्तान में कोरोना से. 1000 पीपल का मतलब है 1000 फैमिलीज अफेक्ट हुई हैं. वो जिस फैमिली में एक भी पर्सन अगर उसकी डेथ होती है कोरोना के लिए, तो वो आप उसके लिए कह सकते हैं कि कोरोना दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी रियलिटी है. तो ये चीज़ बाकियों को समझने की ज़रूरत है. अगर आप हेल्थ केयर प्रोवाइडर्स की बात करें कि हम लोग अगर ईद छोड़ के जितने भी हॉस्पिटल्स में हैं पूरे पाकिस्तान में हैं, या जो हमारी एजेंसीज़ हैं, पुलिस हो गई, ये लोग बाहर घूम रहे हैं, तो बेसिकली ये आवाम को बचाने के लिए घूम रहे हैं. अगर हम आवाम को सोच रहे हैं तो आवाम को थोड़ा सा अपना और अपने फैमिली मेम्बर्स का सोचना चाहिए. जो जितना बाहर निकलेंगे वो रिस्क में लेकर आ रहे हैं अपने फैमिली मेम्बर्स को. उसमें पेरेंट्स हैं, ओल्ड एज के लोग हैं, वो ज़्यादा ससेप्टेबल हैं, उसमें बच्चे हैं, वो ज़्यादा ससेप्टेबल हैं. तो ख़ुद को बचाएं, अपनी फैमिली को बचाएं, अपने मोहल्ले को बचाएं, और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंटली अपने मुल्क को बचाएं.
Absolutely, it's very important. Marwa, would you like to say something to our viewers?
This is the occasion of Eid, but we, like, when we stepped out to work in the COVID center, and we really feel like a family, and we are so comfortable. Like, being a female, it's very comfortable to work with these people, and if there is no coordination, you cannot work. So we don't go home, we don't sleep, we stay together, we have spent the iftaris and sehri times together. So everything is so good. Like, we are like a family. It's the COVID center is like a second home to us now.
Right,
Definitely,
and we all need to feel like a family as well as a nation.
All of the bonding is there. Dr. Fawad, a message to all our people out there, and definitely especially to the frontline heroes who are out there in battling this COVID-19.
सारों को बहुत बहुत ईद मुबारक. और यही है कि लोगों के लिए भी, और जो हमारे साथी जितने भी सर्वेलेंस टीम्स हैं उनके लिए, कि सारे बहुत ज़्यादा काम कर रहे हैं, मेहनत कर रहे हैं. तो उन्हीं सर्वेलेंस टीम्स के लिए भी लोगों को ये चाहिए कि इस ईद पे अपना इतना ज़्यादा ख्याल रखें, लोगों से फासला रखें, बेसिक जितनी भी मीडिया में चीज़ें आ रही हैं उन पे इतना अमल करें कि हाथ बाकायदगी से धोते रहें, लोगों से मिलें ना, फासला रखें. इन चीज़ों को अमल करेंगे तो ये बीमारी ज़्यादा नहीं फैलेगी. और इसी तरह हमारी सर्वेलेंस टीम्स भी जो फील्ड में जा रही हैं वो भी उसी तरह अपने केस रिस्पॉन्स करते रहें. तो यही मैसेज.
Thank you so much. I think all of you are our heroes, and
Absolutely
definitely we need to honor you as much as you can. The entire Pakistani nation would like to thank you for your services.
Thank you for your efforts.
Thank you for your efforts
and
as
for
well.
protecting us.
Absolutely. Sana, I think the take is there that for us, Eid might be different, but for these people, this fight against COVID-19, winning this is the true spirit of Eid for them as well.
Right, and if you want to pay a real tribute to these heroes, then you should take care of yourselves and those around you and follow the SOPs, keep and social distancing, and maintain love and kindness for each other and for those who are underprivileged as well. So on this Eid, remember our frontline workers, our true heroes, and of course those who are in need of our help.
We'd once again say stay home, stay safe, but from me, from my co-anchor Sana, from the entire team of PTV World and Pakistan Television in general, from all the team behind the scenes as well, our camera crew, our people in the MCR, engineers, our IT people, everybody whose names I cannot, all of them I cannot mention, but they are also essential workers in this time of need as well. From all of those people, I think Eid Mubarak to you and your families. We're going to sign off on this note. Of course, you still have another day of Eid remaining. Enjoy it, but enjoy it responsibly. 1, 2, 3, Eid.
Eid Mubarak.